Hello, everyone. Welcome on this Friday to a stream. I have no pop today, no soda, so I'm gonna be low energy. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Today we're doing a wheel stream, so the wheel will decide what we end up watching. Welcome, everyone. As Baja Blast is mentioned in the chat, Kiki will unfortunately be leaving us soon, as the roommate is finally moving out, which is nice. And someone asked if I need to get a new roommate. No, actually. Thanks to Twitch, I no longer need to have a roommate. So that's nice. Is this your wheel of the worst? I don't know. I guess. It's just a bunch of stuff. Let me show you guys what we have on the wheel. And we can decide if anything else needs to be put on it. So we have Chuds, Flat Earth, Karen's, Sovereign Citizen, Conspiracy Theory videos, Creationism videos, and Cleanse. Is there anything else that you guys think we should put on the wheel? And thank you for Wing the Ultimate Nug for continuing your subscription, by the way. Dude Spanking Dude says no. What does that mean? I should just steal Kiki? That would be nice. But no, I'd rather not go to jail for stealing someone's pet. Better use Mobility Mary if you get Karen's. I'll check her out. Hans would fall under conspiracy. Add incels to the wheel. Okay. I'll add incels. Incels added to the wheel. Anything else? Hello, OCP.
There's nothing funny about
Hans is on the wheel under conspiracy. He does not get his own space. Not after what he pulled with the slavery denial shit. I don't, even if I wanted to put Musk on, I have nothing new to talk about Elon Musk. Blocking a bunch of right-wing bullshit? What's this? Xemnas from the Kingdom Hearts games.
No escape.
I like the combat of the Kingdom Hearts games, but I get bored after like an hour. I can never get through a full game. Kanye or Elon, pick whichever is less horrible to you. Fuck it. I'll do, just to spice things up, I'll do Kanye. We could talk about Kanye if we land on it. Kanye. No Blair, not today. I can only deal with so much Blair. Once a week is enough. Musical history videos. I don't like to watch videos that I'm not critiquing, because that's not really fair use if we just watch a video that we all like, typically. Like, I like to do stuff that I disagree with and can comment on. COVID deniers? Okay, we can put that. Is Kanye really the religious freak he's currently spouting? He's definitely religious. He's done, like, religious albums, so... Chris Chan? No. I'm not gonna fuck with Christine. She doesn't deserve that shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Here's how I feel about Christine. I'll just say this. Yes, she shouldn't give in to the trolling as much as she does, and her reactions are part of why... she gets so much attention. However, it's very clear that she is not all there mentally, and anyone who decides to pick on her is basically picking on, like a mentally ill person, and it's really not okay. It's really fucked. I get the fascination. I don't get the fucking with her, because it's like really fucked up to do. And it's not something I would ever take part in. It's Mrs. Chan. She's Christine now. Alright, let's spin the wheel, I guess, and see what we can get. Okay, conspiracy it is. Let's see what we can find in the conspiracy YouTube channels. Oh, boy. Obviously, as always, if you have any videos that are within the purview of these categories, feel free to post them. I like to look at the upload date because that's a good way to find the weird ones, usually. Oh, Mr. Chan, he's a different person? Gotcha. My bad. Sorry for basically accusing you of misgendering someone. There's a new conspiracy out there that Wayfair is shipping kids in storage cabinets? Jesus Christ. Shouldn't conspiracy be saved for Tuesdays? I mean, the wheel told us to do it. I gotta do what the wheel says. It's my boss. Fun fact. The wheel signs my W-2s. Let's see what we got. The Wayfair conspiracy. Are minors being trafficked? Let's look this up. Wayfair.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Thank you, Danish Freeman, for following.
I want to shiver. You know, I don't want
Mia, nigga Millie.
A little voice said, "Go and look again," and I did.
you know what time it is. Move yeah.
You guys, Federal Friday continues.
Can you guys hear that, or is it too quiet? What do you guys think? I'll find a
Earlier,
different one if it's too quiet.
I had touched on this, and I said people are having a conversation about Wayfair, but per what
Okay.
I've seen so far, it just doesn't seem logical.
Sounds good.
A little voice said, "Go and look again," and I did. Oh, bitch, it's very logical. Oh, it's logical. I didn't look into it. Per what I thought up to that point, didn't make too much damn sense. But I took my time and I went and I looked and I read and I did some research.
What's up, Baha?
I think that Chet deserves to be rewarded with a hat.
For what?
Because people bought things for our cats.
Oh, that was nice of them. Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't get notifications when that happens, so...
And I said, oh, baby, something is off. Something
I don't
is
have access to the list, though. You do, so...
I know.
off, and we're gonna fucking talk about it. Okay? 2020 don't give a fuck about nobody.
Chat, I have
If you on the wrong
cats.
side of the truth,
It
you
is
better get right
adorable.
for your ass get left. That's what's going on. That's
You get a hat because some kind person from chat got us something from our list.
A new conspiracy theory surrounding products advertised by the home goods and furniture seller Wayfair now joins previous unsubstantiated allegations like Pizzagate regarding worldwide pedophilic sex trafficking among the economic elite. Some social media users believe that the furniture and home goods
Okay, but what if you just want to buy a cabinet, right? And you buy a cabinet, and a little kid comes in it? Aren't you going to be like, what the fuck?
company is selling missing children through their high-priced cabinets and throw pillows costing nearly $10,000 to $12,000 and $9,000. Multiple Twitter users posted pictures of the website's high-priced cabinets, which users claim are listed alongside people's names. They claimed that although the cabinets or the large boxes looked like the same product, they all had different names, mostly of girls, allegedly.
What? They're not the same product, though. Those are two different kinds of cabinets. What are you talking about?
And particularly of missing children. One user wrote, "So all the names pull up missing females. I searched Naraya and she is missing since 2010. Yuritsa is also a missing female." One user replied to the original Reddit post and said they had contacted the human trafficking hotline and a case was being opened. Heavy contacted Polaris, the organization responsible for the National
Thank
Human
you
Trafficking
to
Hotline, which said that due to confidentiality
Red Hat
reasons,
Rogue
they
for
could
100
not provide
bits.
more
Thank you.
information or confirm whether they had received tips about the conspiracy. The Reddit user who first posted about the conspiracy spoke anonymously with Newsweek.
Jesus Christ, this shit's nuts. People are crazy. Like, why do they think this stuff? There's no evidence to that fact. And again, even if you were trafficking children, why would you do it this way? People buy cabinets, even expensive ones. At some point, someone would accidentally get a kid, and then it would be reported to the FBI. Like, what the fuck? Let me see. I gotta skip ahead. Are they gonna talk, or is it just literally them?
When I put it all together, I hope my mic don't sound too raspy, but I guess hopefully when I put it all together, I'll sound good.
No, it doesn't sound good.
Welcome back to the
Music
channel.
is
If
mixed
you're new to the
too
channel,
loud.
please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the bell if you feel like it.
Jesus.
I'm gonna promise to keep up on these videos.
Okay, let's just look it up online, because there aren't good YouTube videos about this. Wayfair conspiracy. Okay, let's look at a Newsweek article. Kids shipped in armoires? The person who started the Wayfair conspiracy speaks. A new conspiracy theory surrounding products advertised by the home goods and furniture seller Wayfair now joins previous unsubstantiated allegations like Pizzagate regarding worldwide pedophilic sex trafficking among the economic elite. The Wayfair conspiracy theory that became a social media sensation on Friday began with a post to the conspiracy subreddit, which promotes user-submitted conspiracy theories, many thinly veiled or unevidenced, to more than 1 million subscribers. Quote, "Is it possible Wayfair involved in human trafficking with their WFX utility collection? Or are these just extremely overpriced cabinets? Note the names of the cabinets. This makes me sick to my stomach if it's true," Redditor Princess Peach 1987 posted on Thursday, along with a screenshot from Wayfair's mobility website featuring 4 storage cabinets, products named Nahira, Yaritza, Samia, and Olivia that cost between $1,200,699.99 and $14,499.99. Is it possible Wayfair involved in human trafficking with... it's just the same thing. Jesus Christ, these people are nuts. They're cabinets, people. Buy one and find out. Newsweek reached out to Wayfair regarding the human trafficking conspiracy theories, including a request for an explanation of the high-priced items. The company provided this statement in response. There is, of course, no truth to these claims. The products in question are industrial-grade cabinets that are accurately priced, recognizing that the photos and descriptions provided by the supplier did not adequately explain the high price point. We have temporarily removed the products from the site to rename them and to provide a more in-depth description and photos that accurately depict the product to clarify the price point. The conspiracy theory has been elaborated on other social media platforms, particularly Twitter, expanded on the original post, and its assertion that very expensive or overpriced cabinets with human names is in and of itself evidence of human trafficking conduct, more or less in the open, with Wayfair offering humans for sale under the guise of selling cabinetry. What the fuck? In chat conversations with Newsweek, Princess Peach 1987 described seeking out garage storage with their husband when they came across the expensive cabinet listings. While they are first surmised that they may have stumbled across unlisted drop shipping sales, Facebook posts also suspicious of the pricey listings made them more inclined to listen to their suspicions that there may be something more to the list. This is stupid. Do I even need to explain why this is stupid? There are expensive versions of, like, everything, right? Okay? So, it would be like if I look at, I don't know, a $20,000 bottle of wine, and I go, wait a minute, I can get a bottle of wine at the store for $8. They must be trafficking children with this wine. Like, no, it's just that rich people buy stuff, and if you can sell something to a rich person for an exorbitant fee, you're going to do so. And, again, I don't know anything about these cabinets. Maybe they're really, really well-made cabinets. I'd hope that they are for that price, but they're certainly not having anything to do with child trafficking. Princess Peach 1987, who declined to reveal their non-Redditor identity, described themselves as involved in a local organization that helps victims of human trafficking, which has led her to be suspicious most of the time now. They characterized their Reddit posts as less of a direct accusation, more of an effort to see if anyone else had more details. Prominent arrests like that of Jeffrey Epstein for the alleged trafficking and sexual abuse of underage girls has shown that extensive pedophilia networks do exist, but the details of the Wayfarer theory do not make a credible case. Yeah, that's what I don't get. Like, again, rich people, I'm sure, and the Jeffrey Epstein stuff shows, do have sex for money with underage people. Particularly girls, but I'm sure there are also underage boys. You don't need to come up with these, like, weird out there conspiracy theories that pizza places and, like, Wayfair are in on this. Because Jeffrey Epstein, you can see how that worked. He had a private island where this stuff took place. They don't do it out in the open because then you'd get caught. Like, you don't run a child
That's right,
sex ring for decades and get away with it while posting openly online about it. It's ridiculous. Subsequent elaborations on the theory included a user review on the Wayfair website for a previously unrelated $5,000 fireproof filing cabinet, which included a 2016 user review from someone in Walnut Creek, California. The San Francisco exurb, with a population of more than 70,000, was also the location of a February arrest for human trafficking, child pornography, and attempted kidnapping, which was allegedly connected to a wider child sex trafficking ring. Walnut sauce is also an alleged code word central to Pizzagate conspiracy theories. Jesus Christ, these people. Supporters of the theory have also urged skeptics to use a Russian search engine to search for the stock, keeping unit number SKU associated with various Wayfair products, which returns image results full of children in bathing suits. However, none of the SKU search return images of a single child, which would seem to run counter to the implication that the Wayfair SKUs secretly provide data regarding the specific child to be purchased. In addition, following the search engine instructions with any random string of numbers returns the exact same results. Idiots. Thank you, Red Hat Rogue, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Supporters of the theory have also drawn connections to the June 2019 protests by Wayfair employees, which objected to the company selling furnishings to a Texas detention facility for migrant children. The facility subsequently closed, however, protesting Wayfair employees never mentioned setting up public listings for humans. No kidding. Still, the Wayfair conspiracy theory has begun to take on a life of its own on social media, and will likely become a part of the extensive mythology regarding sex trafficking brought to national prominence in 2016 with Pizzagate. Pizzagate alleged that a child sex and human trafficking ring operated by high-ranking Democratic Party officials was run, in part or completely, through the non-existent basement of a Washington, D.C. area pizza shop. While easily debunked, evidence began to pile up. Newsweek previously documented how transgressive public art, including footage from concerts, was falsely recontextualizes secret satanic rituals. The crux of the claims relied on emails stolen from the personal account of Hillary Clinton campaign manager John Podesta and published by WikiLeaks in 2018. While the so-called Podesta emails contain multiple newsworthy revelations, including the content of speeches Clinton delivered to Goldman Sachs and the leak of questions to the Clinton campaign in advance of a CNN town hall with 2016 Democratic primary opponent Bernie Sanders, Pizzagate was built on the unsubstantiated claim that certain words within the emails were in fact coded allusions to child sex trafficking, and the arbitrary associations developed by conspiracy theorists. Various food words, including cheese, map, walnut sauce, and of course pizza, were actually coded indications of people's preferred child victims. The Wayfair conspiracy theory shares a similar pattern, drawing arbitrary inferences without any evidence. Yeah. It's all ridiculous, the Pizzagate stuff. It's really destructive. Captain Rachel says, anytime I'm starting to get surprised by conspiracy theorists, I just remind myself how I convinced several people in my high school, both students and adults, that I was a gang leader via scars on my arms, which were from bug bites and a pizza-related burn. It actually got to the point the school school counselor asked to speak with me. Yeah. Stupid. No, some may be trolling, but many of them are dead serious. I would say go on 4chan and look at these crazies, but like, no. 4chan, not a good place. Been there. I've looked into this stuff on 4chan to see what these people say. They're nutty. They're nuts. Okay. Wheel. What we got next? Sovereign Citizen. My favorite.
To 308.
Hold on a sec.
It's time to travel, yes.
Yes. It's in there.
Where's it at? I don't see it. I need a license. That's not a license.
It's in there, man. Have your name and badge number?
Oh. Yeah, my name's Officer Schneider. I'm badge 231, sir. I need your license, okay?
Excuse me.
My name's Officer Schneider. I'm badge 231. I need your license.
Is this...
257.
Is there a recording made of this counter?
What?
Is there a recording made of this counter?
Does he mean
Sir,
encounter?
I need your license, okay?
Yeah, I'm showing you a license. He has it.
That's not a license.
He has it.
What is that?
He has it.
The classic sovereign citizen argument of nuh-uh. Genius.
What all is that?
May I speak? For the record, may I have your name and badge number?
Does he already have a hand on his gun? He might. Cops are jumpy as shit.
Yeah.
It's got all our name. Where's
Yeah, everything's in there.
Sir, upon the request of a police officer in the state of Michigan, sir, you must press...
The music is muffled enough.
Is there an emergency? How can I help?
Also, the courts have
Do you understand that?
determined that if there's like copyrighted music vaguely playing in the background of a video, it's fair use. It's fine.
Are you familiar with articles?
Because it's not the
United
focus
States
of the
Code
video.
12 is a section 241 and 242.
All right, stand by for a second, sir, okay?
A lot of these people I see, I've been watching these even off stream, and a lot of these people are from Michigan. It's very strange, which is the state that I'm from, if anyone doesn't know. I am in Michigan currently. Oh, I have no idea where this looks like in Michigan. Michigan, as I like to call it, the south of the north. Lots of ignorant people here. And a lot of people flying Confederate flags for no reason, considering we were part of the Union.
I already have it. I already showed it to you.
You have a Michigan driver's license.
I already showed it to you.
Where's it at?
You have the paper. I gave you the papers.
Put the camera down.
For Grand Theft Auto.
Sir,
Grand Theft Auto.
we're ordering you to get on.
Grand Theft Auto.
This is upon the request for-
I declare bankruptcy!
Police officer, you must step out of the vehicle.
You want me to get out? No, don't get out.
Do you understand me? Step out of the car, put your camera down. Sir, once again,
I am not for hire.
Ordered by-
For the record, I am operating in a not for hire capacity
I'm giving you 30
for,
seconds.
by engaging in for any form of transportation. No, don't
I'm
get
giving
out.
you 30
Again,
seconds.
I hate that these
I
videos
have
make me
showed
feel
you
bad
my
for the
ID.
cops half the time. The other half, the cops still overstep their bounds, but
Don't
like,
get out. Don't get out. Don't get out. Don't get out.
Let's go.
Here.
This is not an ID. That is an identity card that doesn't mean nothing. Step out of the car.
Breaking and entering.
he sounds drunk, he does. He sounds drunk or high or something.
No! Don't break my window! Don't break my window! Don't break my window! Don't break my window! Don't break my...
What does he expect to happen? Oh, okay. Sorry. We thought you were okay with us breaking your window. I still think these cops probably escalated the situation too quickly. And we can talk all day about use of force by the police, but holy shit. Sovereign citizens, stop giving them the excuse.
No way to break and entering! Break and entering! Grand Theft Auto! Grand Theft Auto! Open it up now! Grand Theft Auto! Grand Theft Auto! Grand Theft Auto!
You can tell he's frantically looking at the pages he's printed off from his bullshit sovereign citizen websites and going like, wait a minute, this isn't supposed to happen? Like, have you considered everything you've been told about this sovereign citizen bullshit is not true? You'd think the reality of the situation would kind of hit you and go, maybe I've been misled.
Grand Theft Auto! No! No!
Put the camera down. Put the camera down.
Go get this door and pull his ass out. Pull his ass out, Amar, get over there.
Oh my goodness.
To just kind of work into my own creative mood and escape
I do it like, I don't know if they tased him, but the noises he's making are making me laugh a little bit. Cause like, holy crap, very strange. I assume that's the end of the video, more or less. Jeez, these sovereign citizen people, they need to stop. Oh no. Chud wins. Let's see what Jeremy's up to. Jeremy. Are you talking about Brie Larson again? Wait.
Jeremy.
Review Tech USA has a video about Jeremy.
You blew it. Capiche?
Skip it up and that up. So, Jeremy from The Quartering, I'm subscribed to him on YouTube. I have actually was featured in one of his videos one time. Do we agree on everything? No, there's many things we don't agree on. He's way more conservative than me. I'm way more progressive than him. Does that mean that we're enemies, though? No. I know that's the mindset in 2020 is if you don't totally agree with someone, you're either for them or against them.
Okay, but you don't need to be, like, friends with him either, right? Like, it's okay to be like, Jeremy, you're kind of a fuckwit. Maybe knock it off. That's reasonable.
I don't fall into that. Sorry, not sorry. I know there are people that demonize me because there are certain people that I'm cool with that, oh, Rich, I thought you're progressive. How dare you actually be civil with them and cool with them and talk to them on Black Lives.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's just about Jeremy being a shit about Black Lives Matter. Jeremy, what do you got? Okay. Some Amber Heard stuff. Oh god. He has a video about the stupid Batwoman thing. Like, who cares? Ugh. Kotaku lied about me. Oh no. Like you've lied about Brie Larson about 1,001 times?
Pull the lever, Kronk.
How dare you!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I understand I am not a perfect person. Just like there's no such thing as a 10 out of 10 or 100 out of 100 video game, people are generally the same.
Jeremy, you're not even a 10 out of 100. You're an absolute shit stain. What are you talking about?
Except maybe Keanu Reeves, who is clearly a breathtakingly 10 out of 10 human.
Oh, and a Keanu Reeves meme. Very cool, Jeremy. Very up to date on your memes. I see how you survived the meme war, as your other hat often tells us.
You know, over the years, I've definitely had some spicy takes, but it appears there is a small but growing group of people that obsess. They obsessively, you know, I live in their head rent-free.
I know. I think we learned it from how you treat Brie Larson. The obsessiveness just catches, and it's... Jeremy, just... You're in my head all day, every day, and, you know, notice me, senpai.
There's a couple of streamers that are constantly, you know, restreaming my stream, sending their low IQ fans to...
I imagine they're talking about Jake, and perhaps me as well, I'm not sure. I don't know if he knows I exist. I'm not as big of a streamer as Jake.
Trying to debate me, bros.
That's Jake, for sure.
Look, I'm just doing my job. I'm going to keep delivering the news 3 to 5 times a day. And that's hopefully what many of you have subscribed for. And, you know, hopefully, if you haven't yet, there's a little red subscribe button down below there. And I hope that I earn your subscription today. There's a gentleman by the name of Eric Lang. Never heard of the guy. Apparently, he's a board game developer. And he had his Twitter suspended.
Jake is a fight me type, bro. I'm not the biggest fan of that shit, but hey, he could do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care.
His suspension in any way, I have no idea why he was suspended. I never told anyone to suspend him. But for some reason, this vocal minority of people that really strongly dislike me for things as ridiculous as dunking on She-Ra like 2 years ago.
Jeremy, you sexualized a minor in that video. That's why people are creeped out by it. Like, again, I'm not here like, Jeremy, you're the bane of my existence. It's whatever. It's entertaining to talk about you because you're consistently on the wrong side of just about every issue. And you also obsess about certain things like Brie Larson and The Last of Us 2, and I find that stuff funny. But, like... You literally had a video about why She-Ra have no titty. Why She-Ra no make my pee-pee hard. Jeremy, she's a minor in that show. And even if she wasn't, not every cartoon female character is there for you to want to fuck. Hentai exists if you'd like that.
They now have spun up this theory that I have something to do with it. So much so that the morons at Kotaku printed the story, insinuating that I had literally...
Jeremy, don't be so intentionally obtuse. You know when you cover things that there is a good chance your audience is going to swarm whoever you're talking about, whether it be Brie Larson or this guy you're talking about who's like a board game developer, and do their best to silence them. It happens. It's a responsibility every single content creator has. For instance, I'm aware of the fact that when I cover your videos, I want to be clear, no one should harass Jeremy, because I think that's fucking stupid and a waste of everyone's time, and it gives him the attention he wants. But, nonetheless, like this video that I cover, there's an opportunity now, because I'm giving it sort of exposure via my stream, that some people from my stream might go and like report the video, whatever the video might be, or they might go comment negative things to you or downvote the video. Speaking of which, I'm gonna dislike this video. But that's a responsibility we all bear as creators, to cover things in such a way that we make it clear not to harass people, and also being aware that that's always something that can happen. And if you think you have nothing to do with the fact that someone that you have covered has been banned from Twitter or wherever because of people going and flagging their shit, probably as a result of your videos, you're being intentionally obtuse.
Anything to do with this guy's banning on Twitter, which of course I didn't. I never did. I have no idea who he is. I do know, however, that apparently when everything happened at Gen Con, you know, when that guy chose to do the stunning and brave thing that he did, he was somebody that cheered for it. You could see back from 2019. Many were interested in
I think she ended as 18 on the show, but I don't think she was 18 at the beginning of the show. She-Ra age at beginning of the show. 17 or 18? So she may have started at 17. Felt like the story needed a slightly younger protagonist. It's ambiguous in the original show how old Adora is. She looks a bit older, but typically this assumes she's in her early 20s. Our Adora isn't super young, but she's closer to her teen years. It felt like the right age for her, 17 or 18 when you're leaving home. So yeah, she's, even if she isn't a minor, too young for Jeremy, in my opinion, because he looks like 30-something. How old is Jeremy? Let's look it up. The quartering age. Let's see if there's an age on here. Content, no. Jeremy Hambly. These usually have date of births. IMDb. See full bio? Ugh, that's not great. Atrocious YouTubers wiki. Funny. Huh, I can't find his age, but Jeremy looks to be 30-something. I could be wrong.
The victim and labeling me as this or that. I'm really glad to be a listener of the Secret Cabal who handled the issue last year with proper nuance. You know, I can't talk about this stuff, but it exists. This was his former Twitter account. Apparently he was approving of somebody's behavior at Gen Con, which I can't talk about it. But nonetheless, you know, you could see this kind of stuff. You know, I don't know. And I don't even care. I legitimately don't care. I don't want this guy banned from Twitter. I'd love to see him get his account back. I don't know why he was banned. But what I think the most likely scenario, obviously,
he mentioned in a tweet that he's 38 to 39. Jesus Christ. He's way too old to be trying to get horny off a cartoon 17, 18-year-old. Jesus Christ, Jeremy.
He employed a block bot about a month ago. Okay. Here's somebody called Marky X, and this is where it's all coming from. Eric Lang made a tweet stating anyone who follows the quartering will be blocked. The quartering retweeted Eric Lang's tweet. By the way, this was a month ago. Eric Lang gets reported for targeted harassment, gets suspended. That's the story, nothing more. The insinuation here is, of course, that I had something to do with it.
You probably did. Again, I'm not telling you to feel a certain way about this, Jeremy, but when you retweet people on Twitter, it is inherently in some ways a call to action to your followers. It is.
I would never ask my viewers to report somebody. They know where I stand on that. Every single video I make, especially when it's talking about somebody specifically, I go out of my way to ask my viewers to please not contact these people. And I mean,
and
that.
It's a great way for you to disassociate yourself from the actions of your audience. But nonetheless, this has happened multiple times. In fact, you got banned from Magic the Gathering tournaments for something similar when you continually covered someone who was like a cosplayer in the community, and every time you made a video, that person ended up getting swarmed by haters from your channel. So at this point, you've already been punished for this by being banned from official Magic the Gathering stuff. Your audience has a proclivity to go out and harass people and try and get them banned off of stuff when they don't like them, whatever. And yet you claim that, well, I don't know why this happened. I don't know why this happened. Jeremy, again, everyone knows that you know. Stop acting dumb. Playing dumb is not beginning on you. Becoming. Did I say beginning?
Know.
It's not becoming.
Marky saying, I'm only posting this because there are wild stories or lies regarding the situation. I watched the entire thing go down and guessed correctly.
Daddy Sume says, I don't know, Hannah. I have to disagree hard as someone. As long as everyone is legal and consenting, age is just a number. As long as they aren't being groomed or coerced, then age doesn't matter. I don't care. If people are adults and they're in a real relationship with a real person, that's on them. Still, I find the idea of someone in their, 40s dating someone in their teens, whether they be 17, 18, 19, or whatever, to be inherently somewhat predatory, because there's never going to be an equal footing for you two. There's such a difference in age. But again, they're consenting adults who can do whatever. But that's an entirely different scenario from literally just a 40-year-old dude on his YouTube channel being like, why animated teenager no make pee-pee hard? It's a completely different thing. We're not talking about, how do I put this? We're not talking about a consenting relationship between adults. We're talking about Jeremy complaining that he can't jack off to a Netflix cartoon.
That this will blow back on Eric Lang because Twitter is garbage. Now, what he had said about me was, he said, for security reasons and safety, particularly on behalf of my friends and followers, I'm blocking every account that follows the quartering and insta-blocking any account that tags them in unwanted in my mentions. The account is a source of rabid harassment and dogpiling.
Does Jeremy think by emphasizing certain words it underplays what's actually happening in the fact that people are calling him and his community out for being toxic and completely... And by the way, I've had brief Twitter interactions with Jeremy before. And anytime that happens, he'll, go to the retweet button and retweet you to sick his audience on you. And, it's kind of hilarious, but also really annoying, because all of a sudden, once he retweets you, your inbox fills up with, 50 fucking notifications from a bunch of chuds who, A, because I'm trans, will misgender me constantly, and B, will generally be just assholes. And that's fine. It's gonna happen. It doesn't bother me, supremely or anything. I just block and move on if I have to. Or if they're being innocuous, I just ignore it. But, Jeremy knows this happens. He gets CC'd in those because when people respond to a retweet or respond to someone, usually the quartering is still, added in those tweets. So he sees this stuff happen, but he acts like he doesn't. It's so ridiculous. Dude Spiking Dude says, I can't find Jeremy's age at all. I searched everywhere.
I mean, verifiably false. Again, Eric Lang, I hope you get
intentionally
your Twitter account
misgender.
back.
Intentionally. Or say transphobic things in general.
Never wanted you banned. I retweeted this basically saying, dude, what? First of all, you're insinuating. I don't even know what I said, but I did retweet it. Never told anyone to ban this guy. I don't do that.
Okay, Jeremy, you understand that you don't have to use the words ban this guy for me in order for it implicitly to be part of your community, right? You understand that when you cover something, whether it be Brie Larson or this guy, your audience in their basements with nothing else to do go, Ree! somebody and they attack that person because that's the audience you've cultivated for yourself.
And you see, like, wasn't that from June? You know, how is this, you know, hey, that's true. Maybe he shouldn't have targeted Jeremy with harassment.
How is he targeting Jeremy with harassment by blocking his followers? That's not targeted harassment. It's making sure you're not getting constantly barraged with tons of chuds talking about you.
I don't know. I don't care if he wants to block me and say, you know, but he is lying about me here. But that's fine. He's entitled to his opinion, however wrong it is. No. I would never have wanted this guy banned. But he went even further and wrote a unhinged rant about me. A couple of weeks ago, my Twitter account was locked. Restricted is the term. You know why it was probably locked? Is because you were using a block bot and it looked like your account was probably up to some bot-like activity.
Tons of people use block bots all the time. I don't, but a lot of people do, and their accounts don't get locked.
That's Occam's razor, Eric Lang. I'm sure that's why it was. Shortly after I blocked thousands of followers of a scumbag, he calls me a scumbag. I would never say that about you, Eric Lang, but
here comes the faux civility. Can't we be civil while I'm telling people that they shouldn't be represented in media? I'm just saying it's good that all movie reviewers are white straight dudes. I'm not being uncivil to Brie Larson. I'm just implying she's an awful person. The faux civility is pretty fucking obnoxious.
Fortunate that you think that of me. You don't know me. I used a chain blocker app because there were lots of followers to block. I'm telling you, Eric, this is likely why Twitter restricted and blocked your account.
You have no evidence of that.
I had nothing to do with it. You think me, of all people, would be protected by Twitter? Like, well, what's that? Ha ha ha! Are you serious? Like that meme. I appealed the restriction several times over the course of 2 weeks, getting zero response from Twitter, and 2 days ago was suddenly suspended without notice. Why did I block this harasser's followers? Again, just all he does is slander me all the way through this.
Jeremy, I guarantee you it's not slander. If it went to court and he was calling you a harasser, the judge would find, based on the evidence that you've literally been banned from Magic tournaments for harassment, that what he's saying has truth to it. Slander requires untruthful statements. And what he's saying is not only truthful, but evidenced by the facts. So maybe stop using the word slander if you don't know what it means.
The account in question is notorious for harassing and dogpiling left-leaning public figures on Twitter. Am I? Can you give an example? Particularly...
Okay, literally Brie Larson. You're still making videos about her. Let's see. Let's just look at your channel. Oh, boy. Jeremy. Let's look at his most popular videos. What are your most popular videos, Jeremy? Everybody hates Brie Larson. Oh, that's not slander, though. Okay, great. Good to know. Let's see. Feminist frequency is broke. Talking about, Anita Sarkeesian a year ago, like it's 2012. What else? What else? Claiming Captain Marvel is recast, which isn't the case. Again, harassing Brie Larson. What else? Anita Sarkeesian once again. Ubisoft dev. Brie Larson. Ela from H3H3. I don't even know who this person is. His most recent videos, a lot of it's about The Last of Us 2 and how he thinks it's too woke because some of the characters are gay. Not even kidding. There's another Brie Larson video. There's another Brie Larson video. God, his crush on Brie Larson is just bananas. Talking about Dr. Disrespect. We still don't know why Dr. Disrespect got banned, as far as I know. I'm still curious. Anyway, Jeremy, your whole thing is like bitching about left-leaning shit or inclusivity in media.
Women and POCs. Really? Can you give me an example? This guy, I mean, I'm very frustrated by the lies.
You just
that
did a
Eric
video
Lang-
on the new Batwoman who happens to be a lesbian or bisexual woman of color, and you literally called it the most woke. As if anything that isn't white and straight is somehow inherently the norm, and therefore when anyone who is represented who isn't white or straight, that's immediately woke.
Is spreading about me. Very, very frustrated. I love my left-leaning viewers just the same as I love my right-leaning ones.
Press X to doubt.
I am friendly with many prominent left-leaning Twitter users. All right, look at my follower. Look who I follow. I follow people on both sides of the aisle. This whole statement is just lies. Recently, the scumbag targeted John Boyega, the black stormtrooper from Star Wars, and loud activist. I like how he points out he's a black stormtrooper. That's, you know, I mean, I don't know, Finn, you know, he's also been in many other films. And no, I didn't target John Boyega. I've defended him nonstop.
No, you've used him as a political prop. Let's be clear on that, okay? You've used him as a prop to try and basically say Disney's racist. Which, by the way, I don't even disagree on some of that stuff because, for those of you who don't know, John Boyega got taken off of some of the Star Wars posters for China because China tends to be a bit racist against people of color. And the quartering has been like, haha, John Boyega, you stand behind Disney, but they are so racist. So, yeah, he's using him basically as a prop, and he obviously doesn't agree with John Boyega because the quartering thinks that Black Lives Matter is stupid, and John Boyega is huge into that shit. What's up? Another hat? Okay. Let me swap, though, because this one's not fitting very well. Oh, that's a little bit better. Thank you.
Covered the fact that Disney...
Love you too.
Shrunk his photo on the Star Wars picture for money. And...
Yeah, companies are shit, Jeremy. Companies are awful and only care about social issues insofar as they can expand the base of people who will pay for their product. Everyone knows this.
John Boyega apologized to me for misunderstanding that. None of what you say is true here. But what did you do? You ran to Kotaku with this insane story, and they printed it. By the way, you end this. And to the serial harassers and trolls, listen up. You are insignificant. You are powerless, boring, predictable, and pitiful. At the end of the day, you do not matter.
I do think that kind of thing in terms of like making grandiose statements on the internet is a bit cringe. Try not to do that. It's not helpful, especially after you've done a whole like message about it. Jeremy does this too a lot of the time. He'll be covering a topic and randomly interspersed in the video, he'll be like, I don't even care. I don't care about this. But obviously you care at least somewhat because you made a video about this. It's the same reason that I would never say like, oh, Jeremy's doing a stupid thing again. I don't care though. Of course I care. I'm covering it. Like if you're covering it, inherently you're saying you care at least somewhat. So, same thing. Don't do some big post about something that's happened to you online and then go, I don't care. You're insignificant. That kind of grandiose, like, speech just comes off as kind of silly, often. Not the best look.
Signed a guy that wrote a 10-paragraph rant about you. Signed by a guy who thinks that they got you banned from Twitter, but you also call them powerless. I don't want you banned from Twitter, Eric Lang. You also wrote a part 2 today. Another, I'm not going to go through this. This guy is clearly unhinged. I mean, look at all this about being banned from Twitter. From a guy who clearly doesn't care. Now, Eric Lang, I wish you the best. I hope you get unbanned. I'm sure you were banned because of the blockchain app that you were using. I am frustrated and saddened that you would continue to spread lies about me and that the absolute journalists at Kotaku would print it. Luke Plunkett, of all people, writes, Eric Lang, one of the most famous board game designers on the planet. By the way, never heard of him.
Jeremy says, if I haven't heard of them, they don't exist. They said he's one of the most famous board game creators. I can't list any board game creators at all, unless you want to expand the definition to include tabletop games. Then Gary Gygax is the only one I know. But, like, just because you and I haven't heard of him doesn't make the statement he's one of the most famous board game developers on the planet untrue. I don't know if it is true. Again, I don't know any board game developers, but you can't just say, well, I've never heard of him, as if it means anything to the statement that was just said.
Has been suspended by Twitter, and after what he says was a targeted campaign from a scumbag serial harasser. Again, like many of us try in these times, Lang has been using his Facebook and Twitter presence to speak up about social issues, including his own experiences as a black man. This whole article is crafted to you know, he uses Lang's unhinged,
Parker Brothers
tweets
true
as fact. Recently, Lang says he's become the target of thousands of basement
Bradley,
reactionary poop
Milton
heads
and
who
Bradley
believe
were
fans
two
of a scumbag
people.
serial harasser whom I refuse to give free publicity. Oh, yeah, you refuse to name me, right? You refuse to name me, but how about the fact that in the very first comment you say who I am? You, the author who refused to name me, went to the comment section to confirm my identity. See, I archived this and I sent it to my half-Asian super lawyer, Bill Richmond. He's going to take a look at it. Is it worth it financially for me? Probably not.
Oh, Jeremy, don't do it. It's not worth it. I can tell you as someone who's been in a lawsuit before, you'll spend a lot of money and it won't be worth it. And frankly, none of what they've said is slanderous. Or, sorry, it's printed, so libel. It's not libelous.
It's more worth it for me to use this video to remind people.
Yeah, I don't know why
that
you
now
brought up
this
the fact
article
that he's
will
half
be used
Asian
against
either.
me and my sponsors, and to implore you to consider clicking that join button down below today, or even better, go to my Subscribestar, subscribestar.com/thequartering,
What's the
and become a
join
member
thing
today.
mean?
The most important support I can get is that
like
I
a
get
Twitch
from my
subscription, but on
viewers
YouTube,
directly.
basically?
Subscribestar.com/thequartering. I'll leave it linked. Please consider backing today. Now, will Kotaku take down this article? No, but they have no problem printing the guy's unhinged rant full of lies.
It's not full of lies, Jeremy. He just called you a harasser, which is demonstrably true. All you would have to do in court is point to, he is a harasser. He has been banned from Magic the Gathering tournaments as part of his job because he was harassing someone. That makes you a harasser. And also, Jeremy, you're sort of a limited use public figure, which broadens the, or rather, it creates a higher bar for stuff like libel. So
I want Eric to get his Twitter account back too. I don't care about him in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely disgusting reporting from Kotaku, which used Eric Lane's suspension, a black man, as a way to take a side shot at somebody they don't like. Classy reporting, Luke Plunkett. Keep on keeping on. Hope you enjoy this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Jesus, Jeremy. All right, let's see what's next. God damn it. Flat Earth. All right. Time for a Flat Earth video. Nathan Thompson. Nathan Thompson, the guy who harassed a bunch of children, fanny packing and flat smacking on the Tesla board. Oh no! Oh no!
Peep the what? Peep the Gleason. No, I know it's so good.
Here he is in all his glory. For one thing, he's going out in public, which he shouldn't be doing for reasons that are, for anything less than something necessary, right? There's still a fucking global pandemic going on. I really hope he's wearing a mask, but something tells me he probably isn't. You thought he was in jail? I think he just got probation. He got arrested, but he, like, didn't get put in prison or anything.
If you don't peep a Gleason, you're sleeping.
I might be sleeping. I'm thinking of sleepwalking right now.
There you go. Now you know about it.
Okay.
God bless you.
Don't go out during a global pandemic and hand people flyers. If you have COVID, you're going to spread it to everyone you hand a flyer to. This is so irresponsible.
Have a great day. You knew about it already? Hey! I'm asking people if they've been peeping the Gleason.
Peeping the Gleason? What the fuck does that mean? Peeping the Gleason. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, if you're not peeping the Gleason, you're sleeping. So, don't want to be sleeping. That's why I give people the flyer.
Okay.
Have a great day.
All right.
Enjoy sunset.
Yeah.
Those old people are laughing so hard at the weird flat earth guy. Oh, shut up.
The exterior.
Oh no, he thinks he's being funny.
You're filled with water too, just as the spirit moved. Breath on the
MMO
waters
addicted
new.
to 100 bits. My bits say he'll be in prison and on watch list by the end of the year.
That's cause
Maybe.
the water's smooth.
Oh,
it's
God.
just the devil who told you what you saw.
You ever peeped the Gleason? You ever peeped the Gleason before?
Stop trying to make these phrases a thing. No one is going to start saying peeped the Gleason. No one is going to do it. And no one knows what you're saying when you walk up to them and say that.
It's a flat earth map.
Okay.
I just want to give you a flyer.
Oh, is Gleason like a kind of map? Gleason projection? Gleason projection map. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. You ever peeped the Gleason? So he's saying, have you seen this flat earth map? That's a terrible catchphrase. That's awful. You ever peep the Gleason? I love it.
Thanks. Have a good one.
It's like so bad. It's turned around and I love it now. You ever peeped the Gleason? Oh boy.
That'll grow to be there like a golden tourist battle called a season for the oldest course that we know the
music,
keys in the
stop.
ignition of the star that lives within you. Not a reason for ambition is the part of you that gets it wow.
You ever peeped the Gleason before?
Get the what?
Peeped the Gleason.
Stop. This guy is okay. Also, this guy's a pizza delivery guy, so he's delivering food. So if you have COVID, I just want to point this out because of how ridiculous this is, and this is how dumb people are spreading this shit. This dumb dude, let's say he has coronavirus because I'm sure he's been going out during quarantine and talking to people about the stupid flat earth stuff. So let's say he has it. He's covering his pamphlets in his germs, in the virus, handing them to a pizza guy who's then going to touch people's food boxes and maybe even their food if he works in the actual, like, pizzeria itself, cutting pies up and stuff. Like, let's say that happens. He's then going to spread that to a ton of other people in their homes. God.
If you don't peep a Gleason, you're sleeping.
I might be sleeping. I'm thinking of sleepwalking right now.
Yeah, it's all right. So, but that's what the flyer's for. Is I've been testing this for 5 years.
Right.
So the Earth is flat and round like a pizza that you deliver.
So I'll check this out.
I appreciate.
Sell something or what?
Just share information.
Oh, most
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, of course. Sharing.
I seen you go down and run on that thing. That thing right there is kicking butt, man.
Dude, this thing hauls, bro.
I thought you had a motor on it at first.
It does. It's electric.
Okay.
So it's got a battery on the bottom and two 1800 watt
Oh,
motors on the
he's
back.
on like a hoverboard. Can you imagine this guy fucking comes up to you on a goddamn hoverboard, and he's like, yo, dog, you ever peep the Gleason? I love him. I love him so much. Is this guy's name Gleason? Is that the joke? Someone linked that in the chat. I don't know Joffrey's name in real life.
This thing moves, huh?
Oh, it's a motorized scooter, not a hoverboard.
Hey guys, I'm asking people if they've
Gotcha.
been peeping the Gleason.
The what?
Peeping the Gleason?
What's that?
The Gleason's a map. There you go. Now you know about it.
Oh, thanks.
God bless you. Have a great day. You knew about it already? You read your Bible?
I don't,
Could I give you another flyer?
Oh God,
Here,
he's
this
got
is
a
the next
different
step right
flyer
here. Check
for
this out.
fucking Bible
After
stuff.
you know it's flat, the next step is you got to know who made it. That's the next step.
Jesus.
Alright, we'll see about this.
Later, love.
What does it say that? Oh, it's like a skateboard. I gotcha. It's like an electric skateboard. Cool. Imagine being gullible enough to think the Earth is flat, but even that person's like, oh, but God's not real. All right. Bellum Guardian, 25 bits. What's up, fellow kids? Have you been peeping the Gleason? Sounds like a shitty 90s sitcom catchphrase. Yeah.
Ladies, I'm asking if anyone's been peeping the Gleason lately. You've been peeping the Gleason? You don't even know what it's about? Could I give you a flyer? I've been testing the shape of the Earth for 5 years. I
My
don't think it's a spinning
secondhand
ball.
embarrassment is like
And I know that kind of shocks people, but it's the truth.
Yes, we know you think the Earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees, spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting our sun 93 million miles away at 66,000 miles per hour,
roughly.
while the
I
entire
guess I
solar
would know
system
because
located in the
My
Orion
dude.
sphere circles the galaxy at half.
You've been peeping the Gleason?
About him getting arrested.
You've been
I didn't
peeping the
hear that much.
Gleason.
It's not
It's the
Michigan,
Gleason
my
map.
knowledge.
Most people aren't peeping it. They're sleeping.
What is that?
You don't want to be sleeping. Knowledge is power. The best asset we got is our mindset.
What's this
So I
music
just wanna
supposed to be? It's flat Earth rap. There's like entire genre of flat Earth music. A lot of it is hip hop. I'm not kidding. Look it up.
Give you a flyer.
Water don't adhere to the exterior.
There is unironic, yes. I don't know if this is because someone mentioned this might be what's his name? Oh shoot, Filthy Frank. But there are ones that are serious, yeah.
You guys been peeping the Gleason? The Gleason map. Most people don't know about it. They're sleeping. Knowledge is power, though. Best asset is a good mindset. You gotta check out this flyer. Just check it out. No, you
do
don't want
not
it? Never
take
seen the
it.
map? You guys think the Earth's a spinning ball?
Yeah.
I've been testing it for 5 years. Large bodies of water don't curve.
I wish one of the... I'm such a masochist for this shit. I wish someone would come up to me and try and convince me the Earth was flat. I would love to talk to that person. God, what is wrong with my brain that I want to have that confrontation? I don't get it.
And most of the Earth's surface is water. Yeah, but if gravity pulled everything to the ball, the surface would curve. And I've been testing the surface and it doesn't curve.
Okay, yes it does though. Yes it does though. They're trying to tell you to fuck off. The lack of social awareness is eclipsed only by his lack of reality awareness. It's insane.
That's like why water is a natural level. They used it to level out homes and buildings. Okay, so why do we use telescopes if our eyes can see forever? Yeah, we don't have an angular resolution limit.
Yeah, but also the Earth's curvature is around because you can't see over the horizon. That's
Yeah,
why you can't.
but if the horizon was the physical edge of a ball, it would stop at 3 miles, and the longest distance photo is 270 miles.
Okay, but it's taken from a high elevation. What do these people not understand about elevation relative to the curvature of the Earth? If I'm high up on a mountain, I can see further away. Because even though there is curvature, the horizon will be lower and therefore you can see further because you're higher up. Right? It seems very obvious to me. So I don't understand why this guy either hasn't thought of that or has thought of it and chooses to ignore it.
Now, of course it's of a mountain, but if the horizon should be at 3 miles, we have photos of the horizon past platforms, oil platforms, at 10 miles. So if you think the edge...
Okay, but again, that's because you're at an elevation above sea level. They're talking about oil platforms, right? If you're on an oil platform and taking a picture, you're at a higher elevation than sea level.
There's nothing funny
If you're
about
talking about someone on the beach taking a picture of an oil rig, whatever, then the oil rig is above the horizon because it has a higher elevation than sea level. I don't... What don't they get? Thank you, Bellum Guardian, for continuing your Twitch Prime subscription.
of the Earth is the horizon.
It's a lot. Well, Big Ben is a lot farther than 10 miles.
Yeah, of course. I would say that...
If you were in California, you would be able to see your house here.
Yeah, but you know things get smaller as they move away, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so eventually they reach an angular resolution limit. You can't see them anymore. That's why we can't see Big Ben.
But you would still be able to make out stuff.
Nope. Nope. Have a good day.
But water don't adhere to the exterior of a spinning sphere. That's why I'm sitting here. But it don't take
I wonder how much battery life his skateboard has, because it's pretty cool. I was thinking about there's this electric bike online, because my car's been busted. I do plan on getting it fixed, but there's this electric bike that I found online that's pretty cool. It's like you can either pedal it like a normal bike, or you can pedal it with aid via electric battery packs, and it seems like a cool thing. I like the idea of like little electric vehicles like that just for getting really close. Like there, you know, some convenience stores near me that I go to, and I don't necessarily be needing to use my car every time I do that, so.
To see the lake from here, the earth is water.
I love.
Please don't go up to, oh god, especially, and I'm sorry this is gonna come off as maybe sexist to some people, but you gotta understand why. If you're a dude, and there's a woman walking alone, don't, like, come up behind her and be like, hey, and start trying to talk to her for no reason, because women are already scared enough about being out on their own sometimes because of the risks of, like, some random dude coming and assaulting her, or even just verbally accosting her. Maybe don't. Maybe just leave her be. This is good for everyone, too. Most people don't want to talk to random strangers, so just leave people alone. That would be great.
You ever peeped a Gleason before?
Okay, yeah, I see a dude coming up to me. Let's say I'm outside in, like, full lady mode, and I'm wearing my cute as fuck, by the way, dinosaur dress. Check this out. That's a cute-ass dress. Anyway, some dude comes up to me and says, you ever peeped a Gleason before? I think there's an 80% chance he's about to whip his dong out. So, don't say that.
What is it?
Oh, your shirt says love, and I called you love. That's awesome. Well, that's what it's about.
Thank you.
Have a good one. You have a beautiful smile. I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Oh god, no, don't say that to random strangers. No. No! So he's not only a flat earther, but he's a fucking creep.
Can I give you a flyer? Have a good one. Red pill to youth.
Haven't you gotten in enough trouble for hashtag red pilling the youth? Aren't you on probation for that shit?
We read the Bible here?
Oh god. Why? Stop going up to children. Stop going up to children and talking to them. Okay, first of all, look at this kid right here. She's clinging to, like, her mom. I assume this is her mom. I guess it could be an aunt or something. I don't know. Because she's freaked out because this random white dude on an electric skateboard has come up and said, yo, you want to peep the Gleason? This is a church, it looks like, because it says senior pastor here for the parking. So we have 3 children and 2 adults here, and this random guy has skateboarded up on his electric skateboard to, quote, Hashtag red pill the youth about peeping the Gleason. This world is... I don't like that all the words I just said meant things. I really don't.
Alright, good stuff. So I've been researching creation because it says it reveals God's qualities in the Bible, right? And Jesus said if you don't understand the earthly things, how are you going to understand the heavenly?
Yeah, this mom knows what's the fuck up. She's taking her kids away from this creep.
Things.
No conversation has ever ended well with a random person skateboarding up to someone else on the street and engaging in a biblical conversation with them. Not a single conversation has gone well with that formula.
So, I've been running the largest flat earth group for 5 years now, and it's not because I want to be a flat earther. I don't want to be a Christian, to be honest. People think you're crazy already, right? But God calls us, you know? And
this lady's like,
the truth's
oh
the truth.
no.
It's incontrovertible. Malice will attack it. Ignorance will try and deride it. But in the end, there it is.
She is wearing
and
a Dragon Ball Z
flyer
shirt.
too, because a lot of people don't read the Bible. So you just got to talk to them about water and the sky.
Investigate Flat Namek.
And all the tests that we've been doing. You know what I mean? I can't go to everyone with the scripture. I can go to you guys with it, you know? But that's really not my main message. I've been handing out the science flyers to most people because most people, they don't believe God's word, you know? So that's
like that. I believe it's science.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't do that. Don't roll your eyes at science. That's how literally everything in the modern world functions. Please don't roll your eyes at science.
And they'll say they came from monkeys and the Big Bang created everything and gravity makes everything orbit everything, but also makes things stick to the earth. It's like, what? So, I just wanted to share with you.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Of course.
Service started 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. More than welcome to come.
11 on Sunday. That's good. I don't have a place to go, so I thank you. I appreciate the invite.
All right. You be safe now.
I will. I'll try.
Be safe.
Yo, UPS driver, one question.
Oh god, UPS drivers are on tight enough schedules. Don't fucking harass them. They need to get their packages where they need to go, okay? And I know for a fact their bosses get on their asses about times of delivery and shit.
You been peeping the Gleason? Dude, people don't know what the Gleason... If you're not peeping the Gleason, you're sleeping. That's what I'm saying right there. Later, bro.
From the very first day that we went to school,
if you're not
they
peeping the Gleason, you're
sleeping. That
sleeping.
thing looked cool. The teacher explained how it all worked. Of course, it sounded so berserk, but who was I to question it? Because I was just a tiny kid.
You guys been peeping the Gleason? No? No. I flew to South Korea to talk about this one time.
Really?
Yeah, no joke. They flew me out there.
Oh no, I have no idea. Oh god. Okay, I don't know what nationality they're from or their families were originally from, but the first time you run into some Asian people, maybe don't just go, hey, by the way, I've been to South Korea, as if it means anything to the fact that they happen to be Asian. Maybe they're Korean, maybe they're not. I don't know. The point is the fact that he felt the need to point that out to them in particular. Jeez.
They were getting made fun of in the news, and they were like, man, we need to have a conference. So I went out there and talked about it. It's on YouTube. It's on my channel. Yeah, thanks for taking my flyer, guys. You guys have a good day.
My mind.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
You peeping the Gleason, it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Don't let them do it, man. Don't.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control. Yeah.
The music
I
is
got one
annoying
question,
me.
if I may. You been peeping the Gleason?
Nope.
Oh, this guy's sweaty. It looks like he's been doing yard work. He's tired. You come up to him on your fucking electric skateboard. Yo, you peeping the Gleason? If not, you sleeping. I really hope this guy breaks his probation at some point and gets put in jail. For the sake of the entire community in general.
It's the most accurate map. The USGS used it to calculate distances outward from the North Pole.
Great. Okay, that doesn't make it the most accurate map. All maps are somewhat different and they're used for different purposes. That map is the most accurate for literally showing distances from the North Pole, but it's not necessarily accurate in distances from one place, not the North Pole, to another place that isn't the North Pole. It also isn't accurate in terms of size and location necessarily. It's about distance to the North Pole. That's why there are all kinds of different map projections. So him saying this is the most accurate map projection means nothing. There's no such thing as a most accurate map projection in general. In order to have an accurate map, it needs to be on a globe, because anytime you take a three-dimensional surface and try and flatten it out, you're always going to have to fudge it a bit, because that's not the reality of what's going on, right? The same thing happens if you try, for instance, to peel an orange. If you've ever peeled an orange and kept the peel in one piece, if you tried to flatten it out, it wouldn't flatten out completely, because that's not the shape it is, right? Round surfaces, if you skin them and take the surface area alone and try and flatten it out, it doesn't work, because it's not flat.
But also Antarctica. And have you heard of Captain Cook?
Yeah.
Took him like 3 years to go around Antarctica, and it's supposed to be a 12,000 mile round island on the bottom of a spinning ball.
Yes, it took him years, A, because of the ships they were using at the time, B, because it had never been mapped before, and C, I'm pretty sure they had a lot of issues getting stuck sometimes in ice. Like, there would be times of the year where the ship would get frozen in place and they'd have to wait for a thaw. Or they'd have to, like, get some icebreakers out and try and break apart the place where the ship is getting stuck. Okay? It wasn't like they were sailing constantly for 3 years. There was a lot of stoppage. And they were also taking time to map it as best as possible for the time. So they're not going the entirety of the time. They're surveying, right? Surveying is a meticulous process in which you have to measure and try and estimate, and also then take your estimations and put them to paper in order to try and draw a map. It's complicated, and it takes time.
That we all supposedly live on. But I've been testing it for 5 years, and I run the largest research group in the world. I've been on almost every major news station. They all lie about
and
like,
it was
me
cold
and
as
what I
fuck.
do.
True.
And I'm like, you think they're telling people the truth about this corona and the riots? I mean, they lie about me. I'm nobody, you know? Sure. So that's a big one.
This guy explicitly has a private property sign on his fence, and if you know anything about anyone who has a private property sign on their fence, they don't like to be bothered. So I guarantee this guy doesn't want to be engaging with this weird flat earth dude.
And they steal $50 million a day. It's like child abuse. Hey!
The old people again.
Yeah, if you're not peeping the Gleason, you're sleeping. So, don't want to be sleeping. That's why I give people a flyer.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
All right.
Enjoy sunset.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that rainbow. Beautiful. It's God's promise to never flood the earth. Amen. Let's jam it.
That spinning globe, I had to relearn it all again.
I hate this guy so much. He's so bad. All right, Wheel, what's next? Sovereign citizen. All right.
No. Get out, get the supervisor.
I need you to get your supervisor, sir.
Let me find one a little bit longer than that. Let me find. This one's 12 minutes. That's probably fine.
The sheriff is waiting for us. So you do it as you damn well please. But I'm not going anywhere. Here I am, right there. right there, put a bullet through it. You understand? I'm going to go meet the sheriff. You back down or you kill me now. Go ahead, put the bullet through me.
Generally based upon the track record of police in this country, whether they be actually part of the police force or sheriffs, daring them to kill you probably isn't the greatest move in the world, but hey, who am I to say?
I don't care.
Where's Ryan?
I'm going to go meet the sheriff. You do as you damn well please.
What for?
Well, I'm going to ask them if they want to go out.
What for? Why are we getting
You want out?
What for? What are we getting out?
Who are you? Yeah, who are you? Who are you?
It's the sheriff.
Who are
it
you?
sounded like.
Oregon State Police.
Okay, well, I'm going over to meet the sheriff in Grand County. You can come along with us, and you can talk with us over there. You can go ahead and shoot me. Put the laser right there, put the bullet through the head. Okay, boys, this is going to get real. You want my blood on your hands? Get it done, because we got people to see and places to go. No, I don't.
You need to back off.
You need to back off.
Where in the heck is Ammon?
Even as a white person, I cannot imagine speaking to the police this way. Because even as a white person, I know if I bruise a cop's ego or cause them any inconvenience, I have a real good chance of getting a wrong cop and getting one who just wants to ruin my fucking life. Like, not worth it. Not worth it.
Wasted oxygen, son.
Where they gotta...
Why stop the vid? Is there a reason? Does something happen in the video? Yeah, I need some elaboration as to why. Someone die in this one? Yeah, he gets shot? Oh, okay. Thank you for the warning. We'll have to pick a different one. That was Sovereign Citizen video number 20 from Vilified Freedom, if you'd like to watch it in your own time.
How you doing, sir? Voorhees Police. Do you have your license, registration, and insurance?
Why am I being stopped?
So your registration coming back expired.
My registration?
Yes, sir.
Can you confirm your location?
Parking lot of Greenlee, the farming store on Route 73.
I love when we have the body cam ones because the footage is generally so much better, and so is the audio. Is it going to be expired? Like new lotion
So do you have a license on you?
exfoliating, and it's just bananas
May I please see it?
good.
Are you free to give me your license, sir?
Unless you have a writ or a warrant or anything like that to obligate me to do so.
Okay, well, this is a traffic stop. You're being detained right now.
Hello?
100 Central. Summary 26,
Hey.
please.
Mate, do we have another registration for the gray car? Because the cop just pulled me over saying the registration was expired.
I don't understand what they don't understand. If you're being detained by the police during a traffic stop, you have to give them your license and registration when asked.
Okay.
It's like it's not a hidden law. You could Google this.
Sir, may I please see your driver's license?
He said the registration. Can you show me a law or anything that states that I have to show you that?
And, like,
Can you
the
give me
state
some
ID.
kind of
Yes, your registration is expired.
Can you give me a verification that I have
I don't
to show
have
you
to.
my ID? Yes, you do.
This is a traffic stop.
No.
Yes, it is a traffic stop.
Can you show me something that documents?
I don't have to show you anything.
Yeah, you to pull me up, you have to have a reason.
The reason is your registration's expired. Right here. You provide me proof that it's expired.
Proof from Virtual Hospital at the Flower Place. My legal advisor's on the way.
Sir, you need to provide me with the driver's license.
Bellum Guardian says getting
It's a traffic stop.
speed run.
License,
80%.
registration, and insurance are required. I don't have to show you anything. You're required by law to provide me with a driver's license in the state of New Jersey.
Show me a law that says that.
I don't have to.
Yes, you do. You're stating a law that doesn't exist.
It does exist.
It does exist.
It does exist.
Then show it to me. If it exists,
I don't need to show you anything, so you need to provide me with a driver's license.
You have to show me. You have to show me.
Thank you for continuing your subscription.
You're in the obligation here, not me.
Flavier also says, love you, Hannah. Love you too. I love all of you.
I'm stable. Don't even provide documents for argumentative. Sir, you need to provide me with a driver's license.
I just want to see a law that says I have to.
There is a law. I'm not required.
I have to provide you any documentation.
I'm not required to provide you.
See, if I were a cop, I'd probably exasperated sigh and go fine, and I'd pull out my phone, and I would find whatever the law was, and I'd read it out. Am I required to do this? No. But why not? Why not just say, fuck it, I'll stop for a second, and I'll prove to this guy that his bullshit isn't true. Why the posturing? Just look it up and tell the guy. He probably still won't accept your answer, but nonetheless, at least you're trying to meet this crazy person halfway, and it's better than escalating the situation.
No,
that is the law.
I'm not required to show you anything. You need to provide me with your driver's license, sir.
Under the Fifth Amendment.
Imagine having to do that all the time, though. See, the thing is, though, if it happened all the time, then you could just quote the law. You could just say, this is, I don't know, code 71642, whatever. And you could even say, if you don't believe me, look it up on your phone right now and give them a second. Is it annoying? Yep, but you're a cop. You're a public servant. You're gonna deal with crazy people sometimes. Escalating the situation isn't gonna stop making them crazy.
Arrest for not showing your driver's license.
What are you gonna arrest me for?
Right now, your vehicle's expired. The registration on your vehicle's expired. You need to provide me with documents. One of those is your license.
You said the registration, right?
Registration, right here.
There's a registration in your hand, right?
Yes, it's expired. You need to provide me with a driver's license.
Why do you need my license?
So I can prove that you're legally allowed to drive this vehicle.
Oh. Are we gonna get the greatest hits? I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
Okay.
Oh!
So can you show me a law that states that you need?
I don't have to. I'm telling you.
You don't. Your words.
I'm a police officer in the state of New Jersey. I'm sworn to this job.
Break the law all the time. Have you not seen the news? You guys do not do a good job of providing yourselves credibility. So I'm stating, if you're stating that's a law, show me the law.
When I don't have to. When I get partner, I have many emotes to add, but my application's been pending for like a month, over a month.
A requirement for me to show you the law.
They're really backed up apparently in terms of like applications for partner.
Because it's our word.
Your word means nothing. You can't go to court and say, I said
That's fine.
something.
You're not. That's fine.
I just want to see the law.
3490, Calvin 100.
That's a reasonable request.
Sorry, I'm like rubbing the skin off my leg, the dead skin, because like I said, I got this exfoliating lotion. And it just like makes the dead
registration insurance. He wants to provide with his license. He called a lawyer. His lawyer's on his way, whatever. Failing to. It's ready to expire. This is a stop. So right now he's failing to provide a driver's license and registration. I mean, just a driver's license at this point.
What you need? I want to see a law that says I have to put my license.
Ray Dutch,
You're right, and I
thank
know
you
who
for
you
continuing
are.
your
I'm trying to
subscription,
understand.
and says, "Hi Hannah, I've been watching you and Jake for about 7 years now, since I was
That's
roughly
harassment,
13 if my
right?
memory serves. You two are one of my favorite reasons, or sorry, you two are one of the reasons I'm a leftist, and why I started playing D&D. Love you for all of your courage and strength for everything. Love all. Thank you very
Get out of the
much.
car.
I'm glad you've been
Get out of the
watching
car.
so
For what
far."
reason? For obstruction.
Obstruction of what?
I'm glad
I
you
asked
got
you to
the
hit the
D&D.
road.
It's a lot of
Get
fun.
on the
Oh, God. I'll turn the video down next time. We're sorry. I got to keep an eye on that. Conspiracy? Interesting. Okay. So we got to find some kind of conspiracy. Hans Wormhat. USA is biblical lands.
Hans Wormhat.
Oh gosh, here we go.
In this video, I'm going to focus on one example that may be more proof that the real biblical lands are USA, America.
Oh
and
no.
Before I get into that example,
He thinks that the Bible didn't take place in the Middle East. He thinks it took place in America. That's even crazier than what the Mormons believe, and that's saying a lot.
just want to briefly talk about some different ideas that make me think that USA is the real biblical land. And this is not an exhaustive list of things. I'm going to be forgetting all sorts of things. But just the main examples. So one, let's just talk about words and names and places for a little bit. If you spell out Jerusalem, you'll notice right in the middle of Jerusalem it says USA. And no, I don't think that that's a coincidence. Another thing that
Okay,
people
does he
don't-
think that the original name of Jerusalem was in English? Because that's not a thing. How do you say Jerusalem in like Hebrew? Jerusalem in Hebrew.
Jerusalem.
How do I make this one say stuff? Anyway, you notice how the letters U, S, and A are nowhere in this Hebrew translation? Have you noticed that that's because they use a completely different alphabet than the one that we use? Very strange.
Here's a message from C.J. Lovick, author of the widely popular Living Word in 3D series. Watch as he unfolds a mystery hidden just under the surface.
The Hebrew name translated Jerusalem is a combination of two Hebrew words separated by the Hebrew letter Vav. The two Hebrew words are spelled Yod Resh and Shin Lamed Mem. The letter Vav in conventional Hebrew is also the word and, a word that, just as it does in English, connects two words together. The first two letters in Jerusalem are Yod and Resh. The two letters Yod Resh compose the Hebrew word translated into English as fear or awe. Everyone agrees that the second word in Jerusalem is the Hebrew word Salem. Salem means peace, but perhaps not in the way you think it does. Clearly, Yod Resh, the first two letters in Jerusalem, are meant to instill in us a sense of wonder and awe. Whatever the name of the peace prophetically announced by the Hebrew word Shalom or Salem, it is going to ultimately produce fear and awe. This is curious. So is the most common translation of Jerusalem as the city of peace correct? Has the Lord hidden in plain sight in the very letters a revelation regarding Jerusalem that is...
So basically, Jerusalem is the anglicized American version of what it is called nowadays. It is not what they called it back in the day, and they certainly weren't writing it in English.
I often notice are just little word things like this. Jerusalem. Salem. We know in America the big thing about the Salem witch trial, but nobody makes that connection of Salem is literally just the end of the word Jerusalem. They can get you to think of...
They're different places. I don't even know. Are they Hold on. Salem. Salem. Salem, Massachusetts. They're different, Hans. We know where modern-day Jerusalem is, and it's not in America. There are... Whatever. I don't have the energy to deal with Hans.
These things completely different, just if you pronounce it a little bit differently. And another Salem is in Oregon, the 33rd state. The capital of the 33rd state of America is Salem. And again, Salem is short for Jerusalem. There's a connection there.
Okay,
and
cities can be named after other cities. Like, there's a Memphis, Tennessee, and there is a Memphis in Egypt. That doesn't mean they're the same city. Also, New York is named after York in England, right? They just happen to put a new in front of it to distinguish. That doesn't make them the same city.
In Oregon, there's more city names that...
Also, New England exists. So does that mean that New England, because it has the word England in it, is secretly actually England? That's not how it works.
Are from, you know, the Middle East. And yeah, I guess that's another big one. Well, okay, more on names. Memphis, Tennessee, Philadelphia. Those are names of ancient Egypt cities.
Yes! Yes, they are, Hans. You're so close. Hans. We name cities after other cities sometimes. That's a thing that happens. Someone mentioned in the chat there are something like 30 Berlins in America. That doesn't make America Germany or vice versa.
So it's kind of a truth in plain sight. Memphis, that's in America. Philadelphia, that's in America. Those are both ancient Egyptian cities.
Yes, we name cities after other cities. All the time. Let's see. Cities with the same names. Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis, Egypt, Memphis, Paris, Texas, Paris, France. That doesn't mean that it's literally the same place. So here we have, let's see, Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis, Egypt. Oh god, I hate listicles like this that are just like, you gotta keep hitting the fucking next. Just put it all on the same page. It's annoying. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Jesus. Kingston, New York and Kingston, Jamaica. Two different places. Same name. Naples, Florida and Naples, Italy. That doesn't make Florida, Italy or vice versa. Cambridge, Massachusetts and Cambridge, England. Completely different places, but they have the same name. It would be like saying Hans. Certainly, I don't know if Hans is your real name, but let's pretend for a second it is. Or if it isn't because you're not the greatest at deciphering metaphors. Whatever your name is, let's say it is Hans, even if it isn't. Okay? You understand? And there was another person also named Hans. It doesn't mean you're the same person. Sometimes things just get named the same thing. It works the same for cities. Okay.
And the whole ancient Egypt thing, what they sell us as Egypt is just a trash heap and a Masonic hoax. The pyramids were not in, I mean, what we think of as the Egyptian pyramids have nothing to do with ancient Egypt. Otherwise, the Bible would have talked about the pyramids.
Why would the Bible necessarily have talked about the pyramids? The Bible doesn't go into great depth into the architecture of cities that it talks about. It generally talks about areas. Why would they talk about pyramids in the Bible if they didn't have to?
And to me, that's just enough proof right there. It's like the same thing as Stonehenge. If Stonehenge was actually an ancient site, then Shakespeare would have mentioned it at least once. But
Why? Why would Shakespeare have necessarily mentioned Stonehenge when many of his plays didn't take place in England? Romeo and Juliet takes place in Verona. Hamlet takes place in Scotland. Like, or wait, no, that's the other one, isn't it? Macbeth. Macbeth takes place in Scotland. Sorry. Hamlet takes place. Hamlet. Location. Setting. Denmark. Hamlet is about Denmark. Why would any of his plays, most of which didn't take place in England, why would they mention Stonehenge? Hans, maybe don't cite Shakespeare if you know nothing about it.
Shakespeare never mentioned Stonehenge. And so, yeah, just the same way. The Bible would have talked about the pyramids if the pyramids were actually there in biblical days.
There are many things the Bible didn't mention, Hans. The Bible doesn't mention the Grand Canyon. Does that mean the Grand Canyon doesn't exist? The Bible doesn't mention... Oh boy, what else? The Bible doesn't mention America at all. So does that mean America doesn't exist? The Bible doesn't mention Asia as we understand it today. It doesn't mention Japan. Does that mean Japan doesn't exist? You cannot base whether something exists or not upon whether or not the Bible specifically mentions it.
So, in my opinion, the pyramids of Giza, they're just a modern Masonic hoax. Probably the French Masons during the colonial era. They just built those, and it's just concrete.
No, it isn't, Hans. It isn't, and you have no evidence of that.
Anyways, so I think that's most of the just like really what I find obvious reasons for why USA is the real Jerusalem. Just that what they sell us as biblical Egypt, what they call Israel today, I think it's just a big red herring. They're, look over here, look over here. We have all this commotion in the Middle East. I think it's just smoke and mirrors. And
for what purpose? Why would anyone benefit from that, Hans? Oops, I skipped ahead.
This was probably in America. I don't know, just biblical lands. The lands that they talk about in the Bible. There's probably just so many more that I forgot to mention there. But let's get into the specific example. Thank you. A friend of mine actually showed me this. They said that they were reading about this, and they thought that this was probably in America. The Valley of Salt. There was just kind of this interesting thing. Instead of the Arameans, just kind of looks like Americans. I mean,
no, it doesn't. Americans. No, it doesn't look like that. Not really. It starts with an A, but the rest of it, not really. It starts with an A and ends with an S. There are other words that start with A and end with S as well. Do you think all words that start with A and end with S are the same word? Hans, this is why no one takes you seriously. Because you look at random things and your brain makes connections where there are none.
Pretty close. Does this remind you of any place, the Valley of Salt?
Not particularly. Are you gonna decide that it's Death Valley, even though Death Valley doesn't look like this?
To me, I instantly knew what this reminded me of. So there's actually many instances of the Valley of Salt in the Bible. I'm not gonna read these.
Let's take a look. Valley of Salt. Here it is. Hans, it's a location you can go to in the Middle East. You can go there for yourself. Pretty simple. Jesus, Hans.
One of the Psalms talks about the Valley of Salt. This is what they tell you is the Valley of Salt. Have you noticed this? When you read about places in the Bible and then you go try to research, like, oh, where is this? If I wanted to go visit this place in the Bible, where do biblical scholars think that this place is? Usually it ends up sending you to some sort of just dirt heap like this. That doesn't look anything like it.
Hans, You understand that this is not a photograph, right? You understand that what you're looking at right here is an artist interpretation, probably by someone who was never there, so they just made it up? You get that, right? Let's take a look at that, actually, because I can see the photo. Or, not the photo. It's not a photo on the Wikipedia page. Let's see where this is from. Archive, stream, pictorial... The pictorial Bible and commenter presenting the great truths of God's Word, blah, blah, blah. This was drawn in 1878, authored by Cobbin and Ingram. So this was done it was published in Philadelphia in the either 1700s or 1800s. So this person who made this etching probably never went to the actual Valley of Salt. So they thought, what would a Valley of Salt look like? And they drew whatever came into their imagination, right? That doesn't make the reality that is the Valley of Salt untrue. It means that the person who drew the picture without ever going there was wrong. Jesus, Hans. You're so ass backwards sometimes. I can't fucking believe it.
How does this turn into this? Valley of...
Because they drew a picture without going there, Hans.
It's called Bob's Boys Christianity blog. It's kind of funny if you think about it. These people, they think that they're going off to this great pilgrimage to these ancient lands with all this rich biblical history, but they're probably just being sent to a trash heap. Like, look at that. Valley of Salt. This was kind of interesting. One of the instances that talk about the Valley of Salt, look at this, the next verse. And other 10,000 left alive did the children of Judah carry away captive, and brought them unto the top of the rock, and cast them down from the top of the rock, that they all were broken in pieces. Interesting that they just call it the rock. I wonder if there's a specific rock formation that they're talking about here.
There probably was a rock. Often in the Bible, they mention, like, landmarks that would probably have been understood by the readers of the day that we don't necessarily know today because of lack of cultural context to know where they're talking about. It's because the Bible was written by people in a specific time and place using parlance of the time. So, if, during the time of the writing of this scripture, there was an area known as the Rock, they might use that with an understanding that their audience would know what that means, even though, of course, the writing has outlived the cultural context in which the Rock means something specific.
But this doesn't look like a place where you could take 10,000 people and chuck them off a rock, and they're scattered to pieces.
Hans, again, you're not going to like this answer, but a lot of stuff in the Bible isn't necessarily historical. Also, you're looking at one picture. Like up here, you can see some higher peaks with some mountains. There are some mountains that if you chucked people off them, they'd probably fucking die. Here are some mountains that if you chucked people off, they'd at least break some shit. You can't look at one picture and decide that it's the entirety of the region. Like, do you not see how mountainous this region is? I'm sure there are cliffs. Like, here's a cliff. Oh, that's Peru, though. Sorry. That one's Peru. That's Arizona. Valley of Salt. Middle East. There we go. There's a pretty decently high peak. That's Peru. Here are some of these upright rock things that you could, look, you could throw people off this shit and kill them. Hans, do even a modicum of research before you talk. Jesus. You're the laziest conspiracy theorist.
But you know what does? Yosemite. So did anyone think of this when they saw the picture? It's Yosemite. The Valley of Salt is Yosemite.
No, it's not. Hans, no. Does Yosemite even have, like, salt deposits? Yosemite. Salt deposits. Is it by the Salt Lake? That would make sense. Salt flats in Death Valley National Park. There's granite. Hans, why would they call it the Salt Flats if there were no salt? What are you talking about, Hans?
Almost just 100% convinced, just because it looks the exact same.
Hans, it's a picture drawn by people who are never there. You're literally looking at an imaginary picture and deciding, oh, well, the real thing doesn't look like this picture someone made up. Yeah, because they never went to the real place.
I don't think there's any place on Earth that looks like this except Yosemite. And it's been pointed out to me that Yosemite is one of those words where there's kind of a hidden truth in there. Yo, and then they get us pronounce it a little bit different, Semity, but it's spelled Semite. And we know about this whole Jews love to talk about anti-Semite, 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 but nobody ever talks to you about what it means to be a Semite.
What? Semitic is Jewish. Semitic is something to do with Jewish or Jewish people. So being anti-Semitic is like Hitler. Hitler was anti-Semitic in the extreme, right? If you don't like people because they're Jewish, you're anti-Semitic. These words have meanings, Hans. Read a dictionary, Jesus.
Well, here's Yosemite, and it looks exactly like that drawing that they give us of what the Valley of Salt looked like. One of the most famous places to visit. People come from all over the earth to visit Yosemite. And so maybe some of them know the biblical significance. Maybe some of them are just there because it's very beautiful. I don't know.
It's the latter, Hans, because there's no connection between Yosemite National Park and the Bible.
But here's a great example. Maybe go research this yourself. I'm pretty certain that this is the Valley of Salt in the Bible.
Thank you, Baja. Baja's apparently has someone for me to shame in terms of Michigan. North Shore Market Pizza Place, somewhere in Michigan, says, attention customers, those in our lovely government have ordered all persons entering indoor facilities to wear a mask. If you have a medical condition that prevents you from wearing a mask, you are exempt from this order. Due to HIPAA and the Fourth Amendment, we cannot legally ask you about your medical condition. Therefore, if we see you without a mask, we will assume you have a medical condition, and we will welcome you inside to support our business. Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. Alex Keller, can't wait for y'all to get shut down. Yeah, idiots. What idiots. I hate some of the people in this state. They're so stupid. Is this just the same one? Yeah. Yep. I really hope that pizza place gets fined hardcore.
And they clearly could take 10,000 people up these cliffs and chuck them off the rock. And they would be scattered into pieces. So just one more little... While I was researching this, I'm almost done with this video, but while I was researching this, I came up with this thing, Salt Lake Valley. And look at the names of these places in Salt Lake, or near Salt Lake. It contains Salt Lake City and many of its suburbs.
Because there are salt flats there, Hans. There are areas of high salt concentration everywhere around, not everywhere around the world, multiple places around the world, right? So I imagine the salt area mentioned in the Bible similarly had a high salt concentration in the soil, just as there is around Salt Lake City.
Murray, Sandy, South Jordan, West Jordan. The reason that this even came up is because I think that they say that a lot of these biblical places happen in Jordan. And
oh God, Hans, no. A lot of Mormons live in Utah, and they think that a lot of... They like to name things after biblical stuff. So I'd imagine the Jordan areas here were named by Mormons, who like to name things biblically.
So here you go.
Look, it even says, Brigham Young said this is the right place. Yes. So there you go.
So there's a place called South Jordan and West Jordan in Utah. And I just thought this was kind of interesting. Brigham Young said, this is the right place. I bet Brigham Young was looking for a specific place in the Bible. This is the right place. I think that Brigham Young probably thought that she had discovered, or, rediscovered, found.
Brigham Young was a man, Hans. You weirdo.
Biblical lands. And that's probably why they settled there. Tons of deserts in America. USA is huge lands. People could wander in the wilderness for 40 years in America very easily. And what they tell us is the biblical area of the Middle East, it seems really small, really compact. I don't know how...
Yes, Hans, because in the past, people couldn't travel as far. Oh my goodness, Hans.
People are wandering around for 40 years in the desert.
Hans, they weren't... Have you read the Bible? They weren't lost in the fucking wilderness for 40 years. God cast them out of the promised land and forced them to be in the desert for 40 years. They weren't lost. You claim to care about the Bible, but you clearly haven't even read it. Jesus.
I believe the biblical lands are a lot larger than that area, and yeah, I think this is it. Did you know that there's sand dunes in Colorado?
Yeah.
Most people, if you showed them...
There are sand dunes in Michigan, too. There are sand dunes in many places around the world. You know where else there are sand dunes? The Middle East.
Picture, they would think, like, Sahara? No, that's Colorado. So I'll just end with this photo. Which one of these...
It's not a photo! Hans! This is a drawing someone did. An inaccurate drawing. Jesus.
Looks like the Valley of Salt. Certainly not this one over here. And I'm sure they have tons of excuses for, oh, why did it get degraded and it just looks like a pile of dirt, and where'd the rocks go?
It didn't get degraded. It always looked how it looks. The person who drew this made it up from their imagination and from what they saw in their head when they read the Bible. Oh, Bellum Guardian with 724 bits. Nothing important to say, I just want to be stream boss. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
They're just trying to hide the truth that... I think it's Yosemite. Yosemite. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.
Hans, I don't know if you're going to watch this, because again, I'm cutting up my videos into highlighted segments on YouTube. And I imagine when you see a video that says, like, Hans Wormhat thinks America is in the Bible, or whatever this is going to be titled, you'll probably click on it. So let me just give a message to you directly, Hans. I say this as someone who finds what you do very entertaining. Understand this if you are not a troll. People are laughing at you specifically because you make connections where there are none. You're paranoid to a fault, and you believe that you're one of the only men on Earth, which is ridiculous, and I think speaks to some sort of insecurity that you have about your own masculinity, which frankly you shouldn't have. However you are, if you are a man, you're a man, and that's good for you. But you don't need to be going around and trying to transvestigate people to make yourself feel better about your own masculinity. It's not a great look. You're delusional. You are delusional, bordering on the paranoid. Strike that, reverse it. You're paranoid, bordering on the delusional. So please reconsider. And if you really do have children, like you've mentioned in some of these videos, enroll them in a school, because you're abusing them by teaching them the nonsense that you believe, legitimately. Anyway, that's enough Hans for today. If we get conspiracy again, we'll pick something else. Alright, Wheel, what's next? Oh, no. Alright. Let's talk about Yeezy. Kanye West running for president. Let's look at news, please. Oh, I spelled it wrong. That'd do it. Fine. Kanye West is struggling with bipolar disorder as rapper says he wants to be president. Source. I think everyone knows Kanye West is not the most stable individual, which is unfortunate for him. But as we all know, he also has claimed he's going to run for president this year. Kanye West's announcement about his intention to run for president has come amid a news cycle in the rapper's struggle with his bipolar disorder, a source tells People. Quote, Kanye has been doing well for a long time. In the past, he suffered from both manic and depressive episodes related to his bipolar disorder. Right now, he's struggling again, sources tell People. Wife Kim Kardashian. I was going to say wife Kanye West. Funny. Arcana Stamper Blackwell says, I got called anti-Semitic because I'm an anti-Zionism, which is annoying. It's not because they're Jewish, it's because the Israeli government commits war crimes and it's an ethno-state. All ethno-states are bullshit. It's complicated. But yes, I agree. I'm not a fan of ethno-states whatsoever. Kanye has been doing well for a long time. Read that. Wife Kim Kardashian West, who according to the source in Los Angeles with their 4 kids while West is in Wyoming, has been feeling worried about her husband's behavior. Kim is concerned as well as her whole family. It's super stressful for Kim because Kanye's behavior is very unpredictable. She's worried, the source adds. The episodes usually last for a few weeks, then things go back to normal. Kim hopes it will be the same this time. Is he on medication? I'm not saying that people who have bipolar don't continue to struggle even if they're properly medicated, but, like, I would hope Kanye West is on something to try and help, like, stabilize some of this mood stuff. Days after announcing his campaign on July 4th, the rapper 43 doubled down on his intentions to run in 2020, despite significant hurdles to getting his name on the ballot, including that he seemingly has yet to register with the Federal Election Commission. That's a big one. In a new interview with Forbes, which the magazine described as occurring over 4 rambling hours, the rapper claimed he was running with the campaign slogan, "Yes!" as a member of his new political party called the Birthday Party, because when we win, it's everybody's birthday. This sounds like an Onion article. Red Hat Rogue, thank you for your 190 bits. In the interview, which has drawn widespread controversy and condemnation, the rapper also addressed his mental health, saying, "You know, I was out there, ended up in the hospital, people were calling me crazy. I'm not crazy." Following years of speculation from fans, particularly after he was hospitalized for a psychiatric emergency in November 2016, just after canceling his St. Pablo tour, West seemingly confirmed that he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2018. With the release of his album Yee, which bore the phrase, "I hate being bipolar, it's awesome," on the cover. "I had never been diagnosed until I was 39, he said during an interview recorded with radio host Big Boy soon afterward. "But like I said on the album, it's not a disability, it's a superpower." Later that year, West stated that he had been misdiagnosed and was actually suffering from sleep deprivation. Doubt that one, Kanye. I assume that means he stopped taking his meds. However, in subsequent interviews, both the rapper and his wife confirmed his diagnosis. In 2019 cover story for Vogue, Kardashian West, 39, said that her husband has accepted that he is bipolar, though he has opted out of treating the disorder with pharmaceuticals. Oh no. For him, being on medication is not really an option because it just changes who he is, she explained, adding that the couple had reached a pretty good place with his mental health at the time. It is an emotional process for sure, she added. Right now everything is really calm, but we can definitely feel episodes coming, and we know how to handle them. Oh god. I think some of the hurtful things that I read online, what is she doing? She's not stopping him, like it's my fault if he does or says something that they don't agree with, she said. That's my husband. I share every opinion that I have and let him know when I think something's wrong, or if it comes to him being in the middle of a bipolar episode, I'll do everything to be supportive and help calm the situation. West had also spoken candidly about what it's like when he has an episode, quote, "When you're in this state, you're hyper-paranoid about everything," West said during his My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman interview last year. Everyone, this is my experience, other people have different experiences, everyone now is an actor, everything's a conspiracy, you feel the government is putting chips in your head, you feel like you're being recorded, you feel all these things, he continued. You pretty much don't trust anyone. Referencing the explosive interview he gave TMZ in May 2018, in which he infamously suggested that slavery is a choice, West noted that without regularly taking medication, you have a potential to ramp up. When you ramp up, it expresses your personality more. You can become almost more adolescent in your expression, West continued. This is my specific experience that I've had over the past 2 years. Awful. Awful, awful. I really hope people start ignoring Kanye about this, because we all knew what happened last time when the press was like, oh, ha, 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 look, Donald Trump's running for president. Oh, ha, 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 look at this awful thing he said. Oh, ha, 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 oh, he's winning primaries now? This is fine. Oh, oh, no, he won the nomination? And they keep covering him, not realizing that they're helping perpetuate the fact that dumb people will vote for people like this. So yeah, everyone should just ignore Kanye for the rest of the year. That'd be great. Next. Chuds. Let's see what Coach Red Pill is doing. Women start at the top, men start at the bottom. Yikes.
You're a young guy and your life is shit, and you're...
What is this color correction? What the fuck is the choice in this color correction?
Miserable, and you hate your life. You're 18, 20, 23 maybe. And you think to yourself, you know, things cannot get worse. Well, actually, you're right. Things cannot get worse. Bottom of if you're a young guy, you're 18, 20, 23, whatever, you are at the bottom of your life. Simple as that. You have nothing going for you. You have no marketable skill. You are without any kind of resources. I mean, assuming you didn't like win a lottery or happen to be the kid of some oligarch or something like that.
Ah, I see what he's going to do. He's going to say that men are valued for the things that they have and do, and women are valued for how they look. So he's going to imply that women, because that when they go out on their own at 18, they're at the height of how attractive he finds them, that they have nowhere to go but down, but men, because they are valued for the things that they do and the things that they own, they will only go up, because typically people accrue value in terms of, like, property value, net worth as time goes on. That's sick. That's so sick. You're way too old to be pining for 18-year-olds, Coach Red Pill. Grow the fuck up.
You've got nothing going for you now. But over the years, it's going to be a whole different story. Now contrast this with young women. Young women who are 18, 20, 23. they are at the top. They are at the peak of their attractiveness.
That's so wrong. Do you not understand how hypocritical it is of you to try and determine that a man's worth is by what they do and the things they accomplish and the things they accrue over time, whereas you look at women and the only value that you place on them is their attractiveness and how much you want to fuck them? Coach, they are human beings. Women are human beings, just like you. And in society today, women can go out, at least in the US and Canada and the UK and places like that, women can go out and build their own careers, and they can go out and do whatever they want with their life. And if they want to be a mother, if they want to be a wife, that's great, that's fine. But that is not their only value within society. It's your problem that you choose to see women that way, but that's a personal problem for you.
Never going to be hotter than when they're 18, 20, 23. They're never going to be more sought after. Unlike you who are young, you who've got nothing going for you, nobody calls you up on a Saturday night, right? But if you're a hot 20-year-old girl, everybody is calling you up on a Saturday night. Yeah, you're at the peak. And that is the tragedy of women and the good fortune of men. Yeah, because see, a young woman who's 18, 20, 23, she is at the peak of her sexual attractiveness. Everybody wants to be her friend. Everybody wants to hang out with her. And of course, it's only going to be down.
If the only reason you can think of to want to spend time with a woman is because you want to fuck them, I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, don't get me wrong. Women are attractive. I'm bisexual. I find both men and women attractive. And that's fine. But women are just like people. They're just people. So why do you only choose to see them as sex objects and nothing else? Sure, if you're a straight dude, I understand seeing some women in a sexual way that you find attractive. But on top of that, I'd like to think you also consider them human beings that you want to have some sort of connection with, even if it's just a hookup. Sex is like mental as much as it is physical. It's not just like, hole, me fuck hole. It's, oh, there's this other person that I have this like chemistry with. Even if it's not someone you want to be in a long-term relationship, that's fine. But like, do you not feel any sort of connection to the person that you're with, even on a superficial level? Is it literally just, woman make pee-pee hard, me fuck woman now? It's the most juvenile view of another human being I could possibly consider.
Downhill from there. They peak early, and it's a slow fade, a slow decay. And most women, as a matter of fact, don't even realize it. Most women, they think to themselves that, when they're 25, 27, 30, they think that they're still as hot as when they were 18, 20. But all of a sudden, this depreciating asset, because that's what it is, a depreciating asset.
No, and again, I don't like to comment on people's looks, but Coach, you understand that women also look at men and view their, sexual attractiveness. And if you think that a 30-year-old woman is a depreciating asset, then you're a Ford Pinto in a junkyard missing 2 of its doors. Like, seriously? You, especially beardless you, which yuck, by the way, have the gall to go out and comment on the looks of women? Calm down, guy.
This depreciating asset all of a sudden collapses in value. And when is it exactly that it collapses in value? When she hits age 35. 35, 40, all of a sudden she is no longer cute and hot. No, she's like an old lady. And she can wear all the makeup that she wants, get plastic surgery, the best clothes, everything, but still not going to change.
Someone says, DM Trey says he knows MILFs are one of the most popular things, right? Apparently not.
The fact, because age is cruel to women. Yeah, they start at the top, and then it's a slow fade until all of a sudden they just fall off a cliff. Guys in the manosphere call it hitting the wall. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. The effect is the same. Women's sexual attractiveness all of a sudden evaporates. Age between 35 and 45. It doesn't really matter when exactly, it's that age. It's different for every woman, and some women are still considered very sexually attractive beyond age 40, beyond age 45 even. But that's a microscopic, vanishingly small minority. Most women after age 35, so long. Yeah, and what happens to most guys after the age of 35? They get hotter. They get...
What? Okay, again, I don't like to comment on people's looks, but no. No. Men after 35, on the whole, in my experience that I've known in my life, get disgusting beer bellies and like, stop taking care of themselves altogether. Like, no. More women over 35 are attractive than men over 35, at least in my opinion. This is all subjective, of course. But people are not... How do I put this? People are not Don Draper aging gracefully into sort of a salt and pepper look or whatever. Most of them are slovenly and gross and drink too much and smell. Just an opinion.
Get hotter, they get more attractive. Why? Because, number one, they have more resources. Because, like it or not, a man's sexual attractiveness depends on his resources. This is evolution, baby, and so don't fight it. You're 35, you're 40, you're going to have better job prospects, you're going to have more accumulated assets. You're just going to be hotter because you have more stuff. And also what's going to happen is that as you're aging into your 30s and your 40s, you're going to have all of this experience, this gravitas, and you're not going to make a big to-do about it. You will probably be unconscious of it, but people will recognize it. People will realize that you're somebody to be taken seriously. And because of this, women are going to flock to you as you cross age 35, 40, and...
Coach Red Pill, I have a feeling that you at age 50 or however old you are aren't exactly swimming in women. At least not people who aren't... I guess I don't even know how much money you make doing this. Probably a decent amount. You have 250,000 subscribers. You have a Patreon. Let's see how much your Patreon gets. 2,305 patrons. God damn. Lots of people buying into the grift. Anyway, so you probably make decent money. Is it possible for you to get laid, especially from either A, women of the night, or potentially people who are actual gold diggers? Sure, but that's not, like, appealing to a lot of people. That's awful. That's someone using you in the same way you're using them, and it's really fucked.
Onward. That's, guys, good luck. Because as I've alluded, all of this is based on evolution. Because a woman's peak fertility is in her early 20s. It's simple as that. And it's not, something that you can change by way of some law or say that it's
How
like...
do you gift bits? You go down to the chat box and you see the little triangle. You click on the triangle next to the chat box.
Society did it or some nonsense like that. No, it's biological fact. A woman who is 18, 20, 23, she's at the peak of her fertility. She is healthier than she will ever be, at least insofar as having children is concerned. And therefore, everybody else, both men and women, will find her incredibly attractive. And they will give her all of this attention. And they will want to be her friend. And, she will be the belle of the ball. Yes, when she's 18, 20, 23. But beyond
Thanks
that,
for the 100 bits.
It's a slow fade, which is the exact inverse of what happens to guys. Guys, when they're 18, 20, 23, they don't have any resources. And also, they don't have any kind of self-confidence because they haven't achieved anything. Because a man's self-confidence comes not from other people's attention, as what happens with women, but rather a man's self-confidence arrives when he starts to actually do things. When he...
Disagree. This is going to be entirely dependent upon the person you're talking about. Some people get confidence or feelings of self-assurance from attention, both men and women, non-binary people also. Some people feel confidence due to things they achieve. It's not gender dependent.
He achieves goals in his life, career, business, whatever. That's how he gains self-confidence. Whereas with women, it's just attention.
I have not
attention
seen the new philosophy
is what props
video.
them up. Attention of others validates to themselves that they are worthy. And that attention comes from their fertility. And, you know, people don't want to hear this, of course, because it seems to reduce people to just animals. But we are animals.
Okay, we're animals, but we're also both sentient and sapient, and therefore often are able to rise above our base instincts. I know that's an issue for you, Coach Red Pill, based upon literally everything I've ever heard come out of your mouth. But acting like a troglodyte because you think that it's natural or whatever isn't appealing, and it isn't a good thing. We live as adult people in a society. Ooh, I said the meme. We do not live in caves hitting each other over the head, dragging people into our caves to mate. That's not the society in which we live. And to act as if it is, and act as if these biological truisms are somehow one-to-one how we work within the society in which we live, and one-to-one how we've been taught to behave in society, because a lot of the things we believe about the value of others in that society are taught. It's so out of touch.
We are animals. What the hell do you think we are, huh? You know, angels of light and ether and some crap like that? Magic fairy dust? No!
No one is saying that we're some ethereal being. What we are saying is that you use biological essentialism as an excuse for your shitty behavior when it is not.
We're mammals. We are primates. The chimp at the zoo is our cousin. Yes, we're animals and we respond animalistically to one another.
Is this also proof that Coach Red Pills throws shit at other people when he gets mad at them?
Evolution dictates that a woman who is fertile and young enough and healthy enough to have a bunch of children is going to be the most attractive in our society. Evolution dictates that a man who has resources to provide for the woman or women in his life to bear his children, he's going to be considered the most sexually attractive, irrespective of whether he's good looking or not, because that's not really going to matter.
Not irrespective. Not irrespective at all.
From the point of view of evolution, it's how many resources do you have? And if you have more resources, i.e. more money, you can show off more goods and that you are bigger in the world, well, you're going to be considered hotter. And of course that happens when you're older, when you've had the time to accumulate goods, resources in your business and whatnot. You've had the time to grow your career and be successful. And that happens when you're older. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, because a lot of guys, especially guys who self-describe themselves as incels, feel that their lives are misery. And most of these guys are young. Most of them are late teens, early 20s, and they don't know shit from Shinola. They've got all kinds of theories, and they feel misery about their life, and they hate women, and they hate the hole that they perceive themselves to be in. And they are in a hole, but it's a hole that you'll get out of. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to move forward in your life and succeed at the different things that you set your mind to. And as you succeed in your life, as you accumulate resources, and more to the point, become simply more successful, not only in the eyes of others, but in your own eyes. As you become more successful, you'll find yourself becoming more sexually attractive. Women will start to pay more attention to you. And as they pay more attention, that will give you a boost, and that will make you work harder to build a bigger life for yourself, to make yourself even more sexually attractive.
But here's the thing, once they get to know you, if you continue to treat them like sexual objects and not human beings on equal footing with you, they're not going to find you attractive. It's pretty simple. This comes down to incel community stuff too, because incels think, oh, I don't have enough of a chin, or I'm too fat, or I'm too thin, or whatever. Whatever you happen to think makes you an incel. They think that's why they're incapable of finding a significant other, when really 99% of the time it comes down to the fact that they make it very clear that they view women as sexual objects and not as human beings that they want to be in a committed, mutual relationship with someone else in. Like, it's pretty simple. They talk about women like they're all sluts or whores or the opposite, and they say that women are frigid or whatever, or gold diggers, whatever. It's clear from the way that they speak that their issue is not one of how they look. It is how they view women and how that informs their interactions with the opposite gender. Like, I really don't understand what these people don't get. You're not a nice guy if you're mean to women. You're not a nice guy if you're only nice to women you want to sleep with.
And that's the virtuous cycle that goes on. If you're a young guy and you feel miserable now, don't worry about it. I mean, I wish when I was young, people had told me this, because when I was young, I was miserable too. Every young guy is miserable. It's part of the process. And you don't fight it. You just roll with it and understand what's going on. You understand what's going on and you start to realize that the future is only going to get better for you. But if you're a woman, understand that this is as good as it gets.
This is like the idiots who are like, high school's the best years of your life. No. Have you considered that women don't judge when the best point in their life is by how much men want to fuck them, especially creepy 50-year-old men on the internet? Have you considered that? Because it's something you should probably consider, Coach. Jesus. Conspiracy. God. What do we got in terms of conspiracy? Does anyone have any suggestions? Howie Mandel held captive, conspiracy, secret message, TikTok investigation. That sounds interesting. Warning, what you're about to see can be disturbing. Hold on, let me make sure it's not anything. It looks fine. It just looks like Howie Mandel TikToks. Lucas Dawn has something. Hold on.
I'm not going to call out any channel by name in this video, but you're going to know them, who I'm referring to, just by what I'm going to say. There's a lot of channels out there, supposed truth channels. They do speak a lot of truth. At the end of the day, they deny Jesus Christ, they deny the Bible, they deny God, they deny heaven and hell, which is all biblical.
RV Truth. Okay, let's see what this is. Oh yeah, you sent me this guy the other day, but we didn't get to it. Yeah, let's take a look at this guy. What are his most popular videos? That's a good way to get a gauge on someone, typically. Oh no. 100% proof Elon Musk's SpaceX 9 Falcon does not go into space. Yeah. Let's take a look at this one.
Choose to go to the moon and the other things do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
It's a, what? It's a handshake. Even if it was some sort of handshake that Freemasons do. Like, the Freemasons are just a gentleman's club. Jesus Christ. Gentleman's club makes it sound like a strip club. That's not what I mean. gonna talk? There we go.
Like always, I'm covering the fakery by SpaceX. I mean, it's a complete...
So, as we've talked about on the stream before, I'm not the biggest fan of Elon Musk. Personally, I think he's an erratic person. I think he's a douchebag billionaire who people give a pass to because he posts memes that they think are funny. But SpaceX is great. I have nothing but respect for the engineers and people who work at SpaceX. I think it's fantastic that they were successful in getting to the ISS recently. Like, SpaceX is cool.
Joke what they're doing, but of course, the mindless zombies, the fanboys of SpaceX are going to buy this garbage without question. They question absolutely nothing that is presented on TV, just like I've shown many times with this quote from former President Richard Nixon. The American people don't believe anything until they see it on television. That's what it all comes down to. And for those that don't understand the whole entire concept of this complete lie, this complete garbage, SpaceX supposedly launches a reusable rocket into space. In doing so, they released the Dragon capsule, satellites, and of course with this supposed last mission that took place, was it 2 days ago, basically resupplying, supposedly, of course, the ISS, which does not exist, and the reusable rocket supposedly
the
comes
ISS
back down.
Exists. I've literally seen the ISS
For a landing,
before.
just like
you can go on a website and look up the next time the ISS will like be above your location. I don't know how well it'll work if you're in a city. When I saw it, I was living out in the country with my parents still, where there wasn't a ton of light pollution. But yeah, you can go and look up when the ISS is going to be overhead, and you can watch it like traverse the skies. It's quite interesting.
Like a pencil. And let's take a look at this footage. It's a complete joke. And before doing so, this is the only vantage point that you're going to get. You're not going to get any other amateur footage. This one shot, of course.
Yeah, because they're not letting people randomly around near the site of a launch. Do you know how dangerous that could potentially be in terms of A, people sabotaging, or B, some idiot trying to get on the pad to try and, like, I don't know, like someone like you debunk the fact that space exists, so you get on the pad thinking that it's not going to actually go off, and then the rocket ignites and you burn to death in Minecraft. Like, there are very good reasons why you wouldn't be allowed near the launch site.
By SpaceX released. Let's break this all down here. Let's take a look. As basically
and they
the
are
cylinder
bright and loud, yes.
Rocket comes down. I mean, this is... just look at it come through the clouds.
Yeah, the clouds are there, so it has to come down through them. Incredulity is not an argument.
What a freaking joke. This cylinder, like a pencil, coming down for this vertical landing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get a close-up look at this garbage.
I mean, it's an engineering marvel. SpaceX actually weren't the first ones to do something like this. In the 90s, there was a proof of concept of a similar vertical takeoff and landing of boosters. Thank you for subscribing, MH Dark Beast. Appreciate that. Continuing your subscription. Viva Queen Hannah, looking lovely today. I don't know why I loved the damage rolls, not gender roles poster. Thank you. I found that on Reddit. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, even prior to SpaceX, the vertical takeoff and landing was a theoretical possibility. It's just that it took a ton of engineering and trial and error to get it right.
One thing I want to point out, you do not see, basically as it falls out of the sky like a rock, you don't see the use of any type of vertical stabilizer. It's just dropping like a rock. And explain to me, how is this possible? Just by sheer luck? By chance? Somehow?
No, it's not by chance. It took tons of engineering work to figure out a way to get the computer to figure out how to do this.
This cylinder rocket comes down for a successful landing, supposedly. This is nothing more than fakery, nothing more than CGI garbage.
You can look, I mean, you can see other, like, times it's happened. Let's see. Space X booster landing.
4, 3.
There's other times that they've landed from different angles. It's fucking amazing. I remember when I was a kid, I was watching an episode of The Twilight Zone, and they had something similar happen, where they had a model of this rocket come down, and it landed vertically like that. And I remember laughing, like, oh, in the 60s, they thought we'd be able to somehow land rockets vertically, but here we are. So good call, Rod Serling. Anyway, there's tons of videos online of this stuff.
That's all this is. I mean, where's the amateur footage of this supposed landing taking place? Of course, it's not going to be available.
I mean, I can try and find, but they're all going to be from far away because it's really dangerous for anyone to be even close to the location of where it's going to land. Because they've had times where these have, like, blown up. Normally that's more on takeoff than landing. But it is possible. They're rockets, you know? I wouldn't want to be near one. Space X booster landing. Let me see if I can find as close to amateur video as I can. But again, it's going to be tough because no one's allowed near them. They're still too dangerous. And probably will continue to be for quite some time. Here's a crowd reaction. Literally just a bunch of... There's some military people here, but there's also civilians. And this is being filmed by just some civilian.
What? Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Oh.
America!
Oh, look, it's from multiple angles and different people, too. It's like a compilation. That's awesome. So what this guy was asking for, here it is.
Here they come. Wow. Oh, wow. Holy oh, my God. Woo! Oh, my God. Yep. 1, 2.
Oh, that's awfully fast.
So there you go. There's 4 minutes of various civilian footage of them landing.
Again, all we get is SpaceX and their official so-called release footage.
No, literally no. I just showed you footage of it happening. Obviously, I know he isn't responding in real time, but, like, it always bothers me when people like this will be like, there's no footage of X. And then you go and you Google it, and it takes you less than a minute to find exactly that footage of X. It's so stupid.
It's a complete insult, a complete joke. Let's take even a closer look at this complete garbage CGI. I mean, it's so easy to fool people. Millions upon millions of zombies. You know, specifically, SpaceX fanboy.
Daddy Sume asks, do I think that any of these people could ever be convinced that it's real? Do I think even if they were taken into space that they would just think that they are in this big moving movie theater with all kinds of monitors and screens playing movies instead of actually being in space? You know, I don't know. It depends on the person. I'm sure there are some people that would still be like, no, this is all fake, because a lot of people, most people I'd even argue, don't want to be shown they're wrong. They'd rather come up with, especially the kind of people who come up with conspiracy theories like this, they'd rather come up with an even more elaborate conspiracy than admit they were wrong about the initial conspiracy all along. But I'm sure a good number of people would be like, oh, wow, I fucked up. This is cool. Sorry. I really hope, and I doubt this will happen, just because we've always been, you know, a little, how do I put this? We've been optimistic about the timeline in terms of people going to the moon and other planets and stuff. Like, we went to the moon in 1969, and there were, you know, multiple Apollo missions, which are great. But then, of course, we had just such a lull, especially after the Cold War ended, where we just weren't doing stuff in space. I would love someday before I die, and I'm only in my 20s now, so I guess it's possible if I live to be, you know, 80, 100, something like that. I'd love to be able to go into space. I think it's so cool. But I kind of doubt it.
Boys fall for this. And of course, who heads up this deception? It's Elon Musk, this Mason, as I pointed out many times. Nothing more than it is.
There are a lot of reasons to dislike Elon Musk that are real. You don't need to come up with a bunch of bullshit conspiracies about him.
Deceiver, just like everybody else that makes him top of this world stage, deceiving the public. Try to help out and explain to these knuckleheads that do not understand they're being deceived. They just want to worship these frauds and liars. It's all about Masonry, like I showed before real quick with Falcon 9. Again, all about the 33 when it comes to Freemasonry. And of course, the knucklehead fanboys of SpaceX, they know nothing about Masonry. It's all about deception. Like I pointed out with the 33, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, just like in India. But of course, Freemasonry being a worldwide enterprise with the supposed launch of the PSLV C-37, supposedly launching 104 satellites into space. Give me a break. You're going to fit 104 satellites in this thing? I don't think so. And where are they all going to fit? Not going to fit in this thing.
They're very large. You get that, right? It's like this rocket is large. The photo's taken from a bit off, right? It's not literally this big. It's very large. Jesus.
Complete joke how people buy this. And again, the whole entire concept, like I mentioned earlier, with SpaceX Falcon 9, the reason they come with the concept of this name, it's Falcon, as it's a con job. And of course,
or Occam's razor. They wanted to call it Falcon after the bird.
I stated, all about getting the number 33 fit in with their Masonic deception. Same entire concept with the PSLV C-37 to get your 33. These people don't understand. Again, the masses, the knucklehead fanboys of SpaceX, they know...
Numerology calculator. Let me get one of these. Instantly calculate the 5 more... No, that's not what I want. Oh, a lot of these are going to be like astrology numerology. That's not what I want. Well, I'm going to have to figure out how to find one of those sometime.
Absolutely nothing about Freemasonry. They just watch TV and they believe. Again, just like Richard Nixon stated, the American people don't believe anything until they see it on television. People don't think. They let others think for them. And that's the TV. TV's nothing more than mind control. Now, before breaking down the fakery of the latest so-called...
Oh, he's gonna do the, this is a fun one. Flat Earthers have been talking about this because they're incapable of, looking up the actual answers to their questions. Basically, some solid fuel comes off of, the launch recently. This happens all the time with launches. Some used up solid fuel comes out, and they think it's a rat, despite the fact that it's not. And if you actually measured how big that rat would have to be, it would be like an 8-foot-long rat. But here we go.
Launch into space by SpaceX to resupply the ISS. I want to break this footage down as I shown before. With this launch by SpaceX, the Falcon 9, nothing more than a very expensive firework. Sped up the footage just for the sake of saving time. If you're going to believe that this Falcon 9 is actually going to outer space, no wonder why you're deceived. If you really believe the Falcon 9 is going to low Earth orbit, going around the...
I mean, you can see it launching, though. What does he think this is?
Called Ball Earth. after watching this footage,
football Earth, what?
You gotta start asking some questions. How small is the so-called ball Earth?
Sketchy as fuck, but this is the source for the numerology calculator. I don't know if I want to download this shit. If I had a virtual machine, maybe, but there's probably like either some spyware or like a Bitcoin miner subroutine in that, so no thanks.
As you see here, I'm gonna back this up. Look at the angles coming down right here. Okay, let me back this up. Okay, so you're launched right here from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's speed it up. What is the distance of this arch to where it starts coming down? Okay, again, supposedly going down and around the ball Earth to make its low Earth orbit.
I'm gonna guess the ocean waves start doing Never Gonna Give You Up, because that seems like the kind of thing you do. Yeah, I can see it. Ha! I'm not gonna let you do it. Nope. I can see it. Nope. Here comes the timeout, Daddy Sume. You fuck. Let's see. How do I... One sec, I'm working on. Oh shit, it automatically went to 10 minutes. I don't know how to make that shorter, but you deserve it. So Donald Trump is a genius. It's game, set, match in his battle with the media. It's over. He won. Oh no. I have no idea what this is from. Does he just believe that, like, space isn't real and that it's fake and he's about to prove it? Is that the context for this clip? Oh, God.
Mike? It's VFX, guys. Visual effects. It's a projection. It's not even very good ones. That guy is going to be headed to the green room any minute now. Yeah, the green room. Okay.
What are you talking about?
He's going to go to the green room. It's fine.
He's a desiccated man. We just saw a man become desiccated. Oh, God.
You saved me, Doug.
I couldn't watch you go in there.
Thank you.
I'll have to check that show out. That's pretty funny.
Way to frame it. I bow down to Doug.
Anyway, back to this.
Again, expensive firework coming down into the ocean. That's why they launched these rockets by the ocean. You see absolutely nothing. It's disintegrating. Okay,
it's not disintegrating. It's getting far away and being obscured by the layers of clouds and water vapor between you and it. Also, you can only see so far. Jesus.
This is not going around the so-called ball Earth. Okay? There you go. There's your hopes and dreams of going into space, going up in thin air. Okay? That's all you have. What they do is, back this up here a little bit. All they do is show this, again, expensive firework being launched and crashing into the ocean. And all they do is they get footage. You know, they edit in footage of them supposedly going to outer space. Clear as day. This is, again, nothing more than a very expensive bottle rocket going into the ocean. Now, let's take a look at this other footage. The official footage. Now, this was amateur footage, of course. You don't get much of it, but here's an example. Now, here's official footage released by SpaceX. I'm going to speed this up. Take a look at the arch, and it comes, again, back straight down. It's not going around the so-called ball Earth
Once it gets high enough... Oh my goodness, how do I explain this to you? I haven't played enough Kerbal Space Program to explain this to you. Once it gets high enough in its trajectory, it appears to level off because it's starting to try and break out of the atmosphere and break out of the Earth's gravitational pull that way. Because I'm pretty sure, and again, this is from my experience playing Kerbal Space Program, it's easier to sort of get up and leave at a curve than it is to straight up the entire time.
Into space. It's going straight down. Okay, you see that arch, that angle.
It's an arc, not an arch. Jesus Christ. An arch is like a building thing. When you see, you know, an arch in a building, that's an arch. This is an arc.
Again, how small is the ball Earth? If it's going to go out at this angle, then all of a sudden it goes down, again, straight down. No way it's going around the so-called ball Earth. Now, I showed these images before.
It's to gain orbital rotational
out of an
momentum.
Airplane window
Thank you,
over Dubai, the world's tallest building. You see absolutely no curve whatsoever. You see a flat horizon. So people want to, you know, talk about, oh, the Earth is so vast, it's so large.
These people genuinely have no idea how big the Earth is and how far away you have to be in order to see the curvature.
You cannot see the so-called curve of the ball Earth, the so-called...
Again, because you're very, very close to it relative to its size. I know it looks so high up because you're, like, higher or as high as the world's tallest building. But relative to how big the Earth is and how much farther up the atmosphere goes, this isn't very high.
Curvature. But again, you want to rationalize this? At this angle, again, how small is the curvature of the Earth? Can't have it both ways. Just like
It's very small relative to the size we are. There is curvature. You can see it in photos taken higher up. Let's see how high up we have to be before you start seeing a curve. Earth from high up. Here's something, and you can see the curve. Boop, boop. Here's the Earth, and you can see a curve. Here's the Earth, and you can see a curve. Here's the Earth, and you can see a slight curve. Here's the Earth, and you can see a curve. Here's the Earth, and you can see a curve. Here's the Earth, and you can see a curve. But see, even see how high this is. Look at how high this is. You can basically see the entirety of the UK. And even then, this is how much curvature there is at this height. Right? It's still very slight. Because the Earth is ginormous. It's huge. So you basically have to be in space or upper Earth orbit before you start to see the curvature. You can see it in other ways. You can see it like when you're at sea level, and if you look far enough via telescope or whatever, you might be able to see ships drooping below the horizon. But if you want to literally see the curve of the Earth, you need to be very high up.
Shown before with the skyline over New York City. This is with a standard camera, no curvature, flat horizon, okay? Then you get this.
You have to be further up than this. Do you guys know, like, we were literally at the point where you're seeing the entirety of the UK before you even see a curve. This is barely above a city.
Okay, why do you get this? Oh, the so-called, look at it. We live in a ball Earth. Here's your proof.
Okay, that's not it. That is because it's a fisheye lens. But that doesn't mean that when you see photos from space, that's what that is.
Oh, here's your evidence. That's because they use a fisheye lens camera to get the false perspective. This is how you get your false reality. Look at this ball. Look how it's bent and twisted. Just like the flat Earth is bent and twisted to get your false perspective. And again, to get your false reality. It reminds me of this quote by Henry Kissinger. No hero, but speaking the absolute truth. It's not a matter of what is true that counts, but a matter of what is perceived to be true. Now I'm going to break down the SpaceX employees' coverage of their fraudulent launch into space. I mean, these people here, Just basically a young cast of characters, these actors. Look at this guy. He looks like a Backstreet Boy reject, just pimping the idea of space. Nothing more than...
Okay, he might be a public relations person. Public relations people are generally pretty well groomed and want to look good for the company.
Of course, nothing more than sellouts when it all comes down to... Some might say I'm being a bit harsh, but I have no sympathy for these liars. They know they're taking part in deception. So again, absolutely zero sympathy. Let's take a look here at some of this footage. I'm not going to break it all down. Just get to the main point. And as always, I talk about having good discernment, picking apart the details. I'm going to break it all down. First off, notice how overcast, cloudy it is in the sky. Let's watch this garbage launch here.
2, 1, 0.
Again, I'll break it all down. Again, pay attention to all the clouds, all the cloud cover.
They can't control how cloudy it is. What?
Overcast, raining.
There have been launches on clear days as well, though. We saw one earlier.
Now watch what you're going to see here. Again, this is how they do it. It's all about editing. Just like a movie. They cut from one scene. I'm not saying it's not a real launch, of course. Again, nothing more than expensive firework. Now take a look at what's coming up here. Just in a moment. You're going to get...
I don't
understand just nothing more.
Why he thinks we can launch something that is a rocket up in the air, but he thinks you can't keep going into space. Presumably because he thinks space doesn't exist. But then, wouldn't it just hit the dome? They could still do that.
Then an edit right here coming up.
Be proceeding into kicking over for our inertial pitch. That's where Dragon is going to start.
Now take a look here. What happened to all the cloud cover?
It's a 3D model, dummy. This isn't... This is a model. It's not the actual live footage.
Yes, complete garbage.
Jesus Christ.
Again, people don't think. That's why they're so...
Can you imagine looking at a model that's like a Google Earth model and not understanding what you're looking at while simultaneously complaining that people don't think? Ooh, boy. Dunning and Kruger are rolling in their fucking graves.
Easy to deceive. It's so easy to deceive people. I mean, this is a complete joke. Oh, this is the reason. This is the reason you believe we live on a ball Earth, because this garbage footage that is nothing more than CGI fakery. Give me a break.
Today's launch.
I mean, this is pathetic. People buy this again, hook, line, and sinker. It's on TV, so it must be real. Unbelievable.
Dude, it's a model basically showing where in its trajectory it is.
Now watch this. Again, nothing more than just an edit, like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, they cut from the model to an actual interior of the ship where it's about to, I imagine, shed a stage of the rocket.
Now what you are seeing is a view from the inside of the second stage.
Here are all the fanboys and fangirls in the back. Yep, there's all the... Yeah, there's all your cloud cover. Where was it earlier, like I showed?
It was a model, you idiot! It was a model. Jesus Christ.
Give me a break.
Stage separation.
It's like a garbage bag here.
And we have a second stage engine start.
Dunning and Kruger are still alive. That's so much worse for them. Yeah, why?
I just heard you screaming.
Yep. This person doesn't understand what a model is.
I mean, yeah, that's the nature of people that believe the earth is flat.
Yeah. What you doing?
Just getting food.
Okay.
You can see the first stage is on its way back for its first maneuver burn.
You gotta show, of course, the angle of the so-called ball Earth.
Or the
They said
boost back
you're
burn, sorry.
Model, a hat model.
True.
Meanwhile, the second stage is continuing to perform nominally. It's got a 6-minute burn.
We fast forward here to the knuckleheads.
We had a successful main engine cutoff, a successful stage separation, and then a successful second engine start. It was a little cloudy for the Falcon 9 coming off the pad, so we didn't get a great view of it, but it looks like we have a fantastic view of the second stage engine nozzle and the surface of the Earth right now.
Yeah, so you guys probably saw it as we did. I don't know about you, but I got chills seeing the booster fall away.
Got chills watching a movie. That's all you get chills from.
From the
It's a live feed from a rocket, man. It's just cool.
engine.
They're also probably public relations people from SpaceX, so of course, not that I don't think it's cool, I think it's very cool, but like, of course they're gonna be like, I got chills. They work for the company.
She knows it's all garbage. They all know.
Towards Earth and rotating, like, great shot.
And here's your Backstreet Boy reject.
To get back to landing zone 1, there's the boost back burn, which successfully completed. Then there's the re-entry burn, which is to slow us down as we go back through the atmosphere. And then there's the ever-exciting landing burn as we approach landing zone 1.
Yeah, right. Now I'm gonna fast forward here, get to this one point where I saw something that's completely ridiculous. Like everything else with SpaceX. And again, it's about the details that the 99% don't look at. That's why, again, they're easily to see. Take a look at this clown here, trying to pass off like he's getting some type of communication through an earpiece. The problem is, he has no earpiece. Take a look.
He might have a very small earpiece. They make really, really tiny earpiece. They actually, this is true. I've actually looked into buying them before. But you can get earpieces that actually go in your ear, and then you have to retrieve them via a magnet. So it's like an earpiece that you don't see. They're pretty cool. But he's probably wearing a very small, perhaps even form-fitting earpiece.
Look.
The Dragon doesn't just go straight to the International Space Station. It actually...
Or he has it in the other ear, and he's trying to cover this ear so he can hear what's happening in the other ear that you can't see because he's in a room full of noisy people. That would also make sense.
Actually slowly approaches over a series of
Watch
days.
this.
So we won't actually be getting there today, but once Dragon separates from the International Space Station, it will be slowly executing a series of burn.
Trying to find hosted webcast, so this is SpaceX people. Let's see if we can find the earpiece.
So while we're getting closer to liftoff, follow along with the mission progress bar in the very bottom of the
Gotta
screen.
get to the part where he is. There we go.
Right now.
Yeah,
So, oh god, it's hard to see.
you guys probably saw it as we did. I don't know about you.
And then there's the ever-exciting landing burn as we approach landing zone 1.
You actually just saw the grid fins on the first stage pop
Yeah, it
out
looks
right
like
there.
he
We
might
use
have
those
something
to,
in this ear.
dynamically steer the vehicle
Could
to
be
come back
wrong.
down using...
Let me see what the guy actually says he's seeing.
Maneuvers, getting it closer and closer, and we actually just got confirmation that we have a good orbit for second stage.
He just said we just got confirmation, and he happened to do this. I thought he was legit gonna be like, oh, yeah, but no, he wasn't. He was just doing this. They could be getting confirmation via the teleprompter they're reading off of. They could literally just have a little notification come up that says, hey, we have whatever, and they know what this means because they work for the company, presumably. You don't need to be getting stuff fed to you in an earpiece. You can have it on the teleprompter.
Got confirmation. Okay, let's take a closer look here at the confirmation through his earpiece.
Also could be flesh tone, yeah.
The details. Take a look.
We actually just got confirmation that we have a good orbit for second stage.
And that's wonderful.
It does look like he has a flesh tone something in his ear, because you can't see, like, the hole. So it looks like he does have a flesh tone ear thing in.
Just got confirmation. Okay, let's take a closer look here at the confirmation through his earpiece. Again, the details. Take a look.
We actually just got confirmation that we have a good orbit for second stage.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah, he has an earpiece in, you idiot.
Where's the earpiece? He just got confirmation. He's just reading off a freaking script. This is what a complete insult. If you have a brain in your head, don't have to believe me, but just start questioning things. You know, take a look from a neutral perspective. You just take a look at where is the earpiece? Where does confirmation come from? Okay, take a look once again. X and all these so-called space missions add up. But again, people don't question these things. You get your overcast sky, and you get this garbage footage. Okay, not a single cloud in the sky.
It's not footage.
Well,
it's literally a model showing you the arc it's going to take.
The masses through generation have been deceived by those that own and control this world. People don't like to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. People are born into this world full of nothing but deception, and unfortunately they die not knowing they've been deceived their whole entire lives. Just like this quote I showed before from former German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, every truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Secondly, it's violently opposed. And third, it is regarded as self-evident.
Okay, again, I'll repeat the quote from, I think, Carl Sagan. They laughed at Galileo, they laughed at Einstein, but they also laughed at Bozo the Clown. Just because you're being laughed at and ridiculed does not mean inherently that you are at the first step of being accepted. A lot of things get laughed at just because they're funny.
You know, hopefully, SpaceX fanboys, NASA fanboys, ISS fanboys that believe in all this garbage that you're being fed, you're going to wake up, stop being played for a fool, and realize what's taking place. Unfortunately, there are going to be those that are going to rage. They're so in love with the lie, they can't get past it. They don't want to admit they've been fooled, they've been bamboozled.
Dude, I don't care. If tomorrow it turned out that the Earth was flat and all space missions had been faked, it would not matter to me. It really wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, the government lied about a thing? That's not surprising. It would be weird, but I don't care. It would be the most intricate hoax in the history of hoaxes. It would actually be pretty fucking impressive in its own right.
They've been tricked into this deception. Too much ego, too much pride. They're not interested in truth. They're interested in preserving their false reality they've been fed. Not only from SpaceX, but all the other fake news stories throughout the years. When you believe the fake news that you've been fed your whole entire life, basically your life is nothing more than a false reality. And again, there are going to be people out there that are going to rage and get upset. And this is for you people out there. Take a look.
It's really mister, you don't understand. Science is good education, you freaking retard, my stupid videos.
Science with science fiction.
Yes, I've seen They Live. Okay, what's this? Carolyn Bursenko.
Donald Trump and his absolute messaging genius. Because listen, like yesterday, I was saying on a live stream I did yesterday, I was like, where the hell is Trump? There are like days of rioting in the streets. Did they like duct tape him in that bunker? Like, what is going on? Because you know Trump wants to say something.
Yeah, wheel. Sovereign citizen.
The cops just pulled us over right outside of our house. As soon as we pulled up to the house, we got our baby in the car. So they getting out.
I'm coming.
How you doing today?
How may I help you, officer?
You may help me by giving me your license, registration, and
Before we get there, I need you to give me your badge number. I'm recording for my protection. Where's your body camera at?
I don't have a body camera.
Okay. I need your...
My badge number is 3420.
3420. I need your name and I need your bond claim number.
Okay. License, registration, insurance.
I will identify myself.
Okay.
I need you to identify yourself first.
God. Badge number 3420.
Bond claim number, please.
License, registration, insurance, please.
I've seen this one. We've watched this one before. It's the one where the wife gets mad at the husband for being a sovereign citizen. I want him to be at least 5 minutes. This one's 11.
Yeah, getting pulled over. About Madeline Borough.
No, sir. See your license, registration, proof of insurance?
Reason why you pulling me over?
As soon as you show me your license, registration, proof of insurance, I'll let you know.
You have a delegation of authority order?
Can I see your license, registration, proof of insurance, please?
I don't have to have a license.
This one's hard to hear.
I'm sorry?
I don't have.
Trying to find one that's the right mix of length and audibility. Oh, God. Is he, like, just speeding through? Oh, there's a cop. Is he running from the cops? Because that's not a good move. Seems like he's running. Why? Not a good idea. Running from the cops during a traffic stop is a great way to turn a misdemeanor into a felony. Don't do it. Is he gonna crash the car, or is he actually gonna give up? Ooh, looks like he crashed. Alright. Let's see a shorter one on top of that, since that was quick.
No, sir. No, sir.
Anybody else in here, Sheriff?
No, just me.
Today is the day, man. We have the court order for the eviction.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's already in the Supreme Court, so, you know, I mean, don't worry about
I very much doubt your specific case about getting evicted is already in the Supreme Court. I somehow doubt that.
It's whatever.
Here.
They're going to pack it all and move it to a storage unit. I'll call your mom and let her know where the storage unit's going to be, okay?
You can take my number, too.
Front door. They got to go out on the front porch now.
Take what you can carry.
What's your name?
Timothy Danner. D-A-N-N-E-R.
Danner.
That's right.
Timmy Danner. What's your name?
Timmy.
For the record?
All right, come on. Let's go. You got to go.
I'm grabbing my stuff. So we have to leave or else we're going to be kidnapped.
Yep.
No, you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail.
Right, we're going to be kidnapped.
That is kidnapping.
Grab what you can carry. Get out. Calm down.
Get out of my house.
Shut up, little boy.
Get out of your house.
you say the name for the record? Can you say the name for the
LGB
record?
drop the T's been banned from what? From Twitter?
Okay, yeah, I got everybody's name. Everybody's name and face for the record. That's cool. Everybody's name and face for the record.
Reddit. Nice.
That's cool. Relax. They seen the tour. This is a $2 million tour. They're fucked.
You're not coming back in.
I gotta get my shoes and my coat. I gotta get my shoes and my...
Hey, you're assaulting me? No shit.
You need to leave.
Okay, let's do one more wheel spin, and then I'm probably gonna call it a night. Flat Earth.
Hello, people. Steve.
Technically, this isn't Flat Earth, but I'm going to say it falls into the same category. This is Stephen Christ. Stephen Christ is someone who I haven't dealt with in a very long time. When we first started the YouTube channel, something like 8-9 years ago at this point, probably closer to 8 years, Stephen Christ, we had interactions with him, and he cursed both Jake and I, fun fact, because he thinks, or at one time at least, he thought he was both Jesus and Satan. So, let's take a look at some of this stuff. Flat Earth, concave Earth in a nutshell. He believes that we live on the inside of the Earth. Are you gonna talk, or is this just 50 minutes of random footage cut together? There we go, okay.
Don't tell anybody. They'll think you're crazy.
Yep.
In this video, I'm going to easily visually display to you what is going on with the octahedron and the way in which we see the celestial sphere. Remember, I mentioned before that the octahedron acts as a resonant absorptive antenna. If you look at radiation patterns of dipole antennas, it has the same dipole effect, where it is splitting the circle in two, and we see the same type of pattern there with our eyes. Our eyes, wherever we are within the inside of the Earth, whatever latitude we're at. In this case, we're at 45 degrees north. Our eyes are always going to carry it to the center, and it will figuratively split the celestial sphere into two. And so the half that is facing you flips in curvature, and it appears as if that side creates a dome over your head. It's not a real dome, it's a virtual dome. But that is the way that light operates, that energy operates, that electricity operates within the Earth. That resonant absorptive energy that sucks the light up toward the center.
This is a lot of word salad.
When you look at a nebula, let's use a regular atmospheric cloud for a reference object. Which dimension seems more believable? 50 million light years across, or about the size of a cloud?
It doesn't matter which seems more reasonable to you without any scientific knowledge of how nebulas work. What matters is the evidence as we understand it. And the evidence says that this thing is incredibly huge. It doesn't matter if you go, but it looks like a cloud. That's not how science works.
Nebula means cloud. The truth is hidden in plain sight. The stars are close. They have to be close. The concept of light year is fiction. They have to conjure up prodigious distances in order for their model to work. But common sense tells you it cannot work. We see the stars. The stars are close, very close. The stars
no,
are small,
they're not. They're very far
the
away.
Stars are behind glass.
All right, that's all I can do. I can't even today.
Hey guys, I want you to think about a time when a particular woman...
Nope. I'm probably going to call it a day. Let's see who we can raid. I know Jake's on, but y'all already know Jake, so let me see if I can find someone else. Fuck it, we'll raid Jake. So thanks, everyone. Have a good night. If you haven't, follow. You can also subscribe if you want. Earlier in the chat, there are... Oh boy, the links to the, yeah, I am broken. There are links to the, wish list for the cat stuff. I have a YouTube channel, which you can find on YouTube by searching Hannah Reloaded, all one word, where I put the streams. I'll be doing that probably tomorrow. I'm kind of tired, so I'll cut that up tomorrow and put all that stuff out. Chat is valid. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.